everyone, to episode 114 of the Balcast podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Peng, and I'm joined yet again by Speedish Chief 3, aka
Hey,
Anicor, who's
hey,
who's here for you're setting the world record for guest episodes.
yeah, bro. Like 2 times in a row. Yeah,
hmm Yeah,
sounds like it might
yeah.
be more than I guess.
It might be. So, we'll just address it now because there's no need for us to drag this on specifically. For those of you wondering, hashtag where's Speedy, right? And we're wondering that too. And I didn't put that out there last week because I was just messing around or whatever. I actually wasn't entirely sure. I knew he was okay, but he just was a little delayed on responding to me. Um, full transparency, I had a conversation with Speedy, and he essentially told me, it's been a good ride, but his heart's not really into the podcast anymore, and so he is going to be leaving the show as a co-host. So that's fine. We wish him the best. We had a lot of great episodes together. We celebrated episode 100 with him, and we even had Michael Saranka with him on, and all this cool stuff. And we did a bunch of bets. I mean, he shaved his beard, so he definitely contributed a lot to the
Yeah,
content of this podcast, and we wish him the best. Now, I'm sure everyone's already wondering one thing, right? Is he going to eat the hot chip? And
no.
I don't know. He has the hot chip, right? I personally don't feel comfortable making him eat a hot chip, holding him accountable eating hot chip, even though he lost the bet. Just because he's no longer official co-host of the episode. If he wants to join anytime in the future and come on this episode and eat the hot chip with us, hey, we'd
That's the
happily
requirement.
have him as a guest. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, or honestly, if he wants to record it somewhere else, he's eating it. That's fine too. It doesn't have to be on this podcast. But I mean, there's no point eating the hot chip if you're not gonna record it, right? So,
it is true.
um, yeah, I know he had a other couple bets in the that he was trying to fulfill, but I'm no loan shark. I'm not going to go after him or anything like that. It's all good. So
And
if
so
he
man really pulled the exit scam, He was like
yeah, the
bet
pro dodge
too
strats
much.
right there.
Yeah.
This is a little funny story, but back before this is years way back, like a couple years ago, back during like Sylph season 2 or something like that, long early days. He used to be known as one of the pro dodgers in a lot of these online tournaments where team format, ADL, Sylph, etc. You name it. He'd always be waiting until the deadline to do his battles, and it was well known in the community that he was a pro dodger. So he's pro the biggest dodge on all of us here on
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah.
But silver lining here is I'm not running this show solo. We actually have Anicor on. Originally started off as a fill, but
Mhm.
now the full time thing. Until I scare him off and he quits too because he doesn't want to do a bet he loses.
Hey,
But
bruv. Hey, you're saying this, innit? Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna be the first guy to make you eat your words and the hot chip.
okay, all
I'm just
right.
saying this now.
I will
This
say I
is
didn't beat Speed in every bet, but I didn't really lose any of the big bets like the hot chip or the
yeah.
beard shaving ones. I just lost some Stardust bets. I don't remember what my
I mean,
initial
just for
score was for those.
reference, yeah, Caleb has
Yeah.
already put a scoreboard of our bets in our little in our
I
little
did.
agenda description. So
Uh-huh.
that's already first on his mind, isn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah, let's
Uh
I'll
yeah,
take it.
so yeah, that's exactly right. So I started a all-time bets chart already on our agenda. I wiped the slate clean with all me and Speedy's history stuff, and we're up to 0 to 0. And I got at least 2 bets loaded up for this upcoming
Mhm.
episode. So if you love some bets, we're gonna keep it going. If you hate the bets, too bad. Too bad. it's our show. But
Bet all
um
cats podcast.
exactly. So that's the news on Speedy Chief. We definitely wish him well. All jokes aside, I was very grateful and had a lot of fun times with him too. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll have him on as a future guest someday. But TBD. Just like how we had Zion back on for episode
Yeah,
100.
episode 200.
Dude, episode 200 is a long ways away. You know how long that is? That's like
No, no,
that's that's like that's like
about
20 that's
2 years
like
or so.
Yeah, it'll be like 2025, I think, if we make an
Uh,
episode every week. Yeah,
that's right,
that's wild. Imagine 2025,
bro.
dude. I'll be in my mid 30s, man. I'll be
Yeah, that's kind of wild. I'm not
engaging.
gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah,
Feel kind of sorry
yeah,
for you.
yeah. I mean, you'll be
Yeah,
joining me soon enough, so
yeah, yeah.
we'll see how it
We'll get
goes.
into speed.
All right. So, let's take a look at some of the YouTube comments. Let's start off with the BTW podcast or crossover episode because we didn't cover that one last week, but just to cover some of the episodes. ZT Smith says two of my favorite podcasts combined: the Captain Planet of Pokemon Go PvP podcast. Yeah, yeah, definitely for those that are fans of both the BTW podcast and Battlecats. That was hopefully a fun episode. If you haven't listened to BTW podcast yet, definitely give it a listen because they definitely have some great content there. Nathan Bocci says the first hot take was very right in context of to the barrier for entry. One, it's super expensive and grindy in regular game mechanics, catching for dust and hoping for the right XLs, trading for XLs, getting the right moves, etc. Number two, in game, there is nothing to explain how PP works, turn duration, energy generation, energy cost, switching type advantages, post grunts description, maybe IV understanding, etc. I would say pause real quick on that. That is definitely a downside. Some of the content creators like myself definitely reaping some of the benefits because we come out with tutorial videos on how to do it. But yes, I do agree. I wish there were more instructions there on that one.
Yeah, I think that part's pretty big as well because, like,
Mhm.
I tried to, I think a year ago, like, teach a load of locals how to battle, and I realized I was just like, there is nothing in the game to do that. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like, they've
Yeah.
literally got an
It,
entire battle system and just zero description of
mhm.
what to do.
And the game looks so simple, right? I think that's the wild part is
Yeah,
it looks so simple, but there's so many nuances.
yeah.
And I think because it looks so simple, people don't understand why they're
Exactly.
losing,
Yeah.
right? Like
And that makes
it's not
them,
a
that puts them off
coincidence.
quite a lot as well. Because a lot of people I talked to
Mhm,
as well, I was like, well, I'm trying to like convert like casual players into PvP players.
mhm.
And a lot of people, they feel like it was a chore because they're like, well, I only do it if I have a task to do or something like that. And it's like, that's not really the introduction you want to give people. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like feeling like it's just a mandatory thing you just have to get out of the way. Kind of want them to enjoy it.
Yeah. I do wonder though, because for I feel like VGC, like in the main series game, there's not a lot of instructions either. Because I don't know, dude.
Doesn't
I
the
face a
professor teach us throw a Pokeball or something?
Yeah, I guess there's a little bit, but some of the stuff like okay, so I'll give you an example, right? um in the main series game there's a move called like levitate or whatever, or it's like a
Yeah,
passive almost, right?
yeah,
So some Pokemon like Ghastly or Haunter have it. Gengar doesn't because like too busted on Gengar, but I think Bronzong has it, whatever. And so like Bronzong or Ghastly or Haunter, poison or steel type, you're thinking they're weak to ground. So
right.
I'm like a Clodsire or something. I'm throwing ground moves at this Haunter or this Bronzong. I'm doing like no damage. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand. It's weak type effectiveness. It makes no sense. But they have this like hidden move that like you don't know about. And then there's also immunity in the main series game, which in Go there isn't. You just have
Yeah,
like very resistant moves. I had a Toxapex, which is poison and water, all poison and water moves against. This was actually when I was batting Speedy in VGC when we are doing some battles together. His freaking Dragapult and it's Ghost and Dragon, so it's gonna it's just completely resist everything I throw at it, right? And it's like I'm throwing like poison damage at it, it's just doing zero damage, not like one or two, like literally zero. Um, so it's
yeah.
yeah,
That
it's
is
a
true.
little
That is true. Yeah, I guess they don't really explain
yeah,
that much
but
there.
I do
But I guess
yeah.
also there's, yeah, okay, maybe there's not really a reason in it, but there's like enough resources around the main series games where if you Googled it up, like something would come up in it. So I guess maybe
Yeah.
that's what's missing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely so. Number 3 from Nathan is any other game has a tutorial of some kind. Go PP and GPL does not. All these things make it really hard to want to learn how to play or to play at all. Imagine getting a new board game with 500 piece to piece together before even playing, and then there's no instructions for any of it. That's the biggest part that needs to change. I do agree. I think we're definitely making some inroads on improving it a little bit. Like for example, during Worlds, right before Worlds, like the broadcast, I know there's an article co-written by Softove and Speedy Chief actually on PvP and different mechanics and all this stuff, posted on the official Pokemon Go live blog, which
Yeah.
was really cool. And then of course they added the Dancing Rob research and the Worlds research, all that stuff. And we'll talk about more about the GoFest spawns too. But I think I think these are looking a little better for PP these days, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, definitely interesting points though for sure. Jeffrey Castaneda says, "Hello, I started playing PvP a little under 2 years ago and have definitely improved gradually and was even able to get to 2940 elo during the last rotation
Oh,
of Ultra League. Yo, that's huge.
yeah,
That's
big.
pretty. That's right on knocking on Legend Store. Fantasy Cup has got me to the 2500s again. I really want to give Masters another shot, but due to remote raid nerfs and how near impossible it is to build legendaries, my current roster consists of only Dragonite, Snorlax, Gyarados, Metagross, Lugia, Florges, and Mamo. I've been running Meta Lead, Lugia Safe Swap, and D Knights. Team has a pretty good grade and does decent, but I find myself struggling versus all the legendaries I see. I wonder if I should switch the team around. Also, which mon I should have as my buddy. Thank readings and thank you guys for the content. Yeah, Master League is a tough one. I mean, dude, I still see that like Dragonite, Metagross, Excadrill team from
Yeah,
time to time, and it
I
still
mean,
kind of works. Like I've lost to it, depending on what team you're playing to, it could definitely be a little tough. Hopefully, Jeffrey, during the most recent Go Fest events, you were able to get some of the stuff, especially like Rayquaza, Groudon, Kyogre, stuff like that. Especially because they lifted nerf remote raid nerf stuff. I honestly don't even hate the fact that it's ending on Match League. I hate more so that it's ending on Catch Cup because it forces players that don't have the resources for Match League to probably spend more resources to build Pokemon just
exactly.
for a
Yeah.
week to use, right? That they might already have built. So that's my personal gripe on it. Like I don't like I think regardless for Master League, it's not going to leave anytime in the future, and
Mhm.
not most people aren't a lot of people aren't going to have resources for it anytime soon. But hopefully the alternative is a little bit more affordable. Again, I hate also Little Cup when it's paired with Master League because Little
Yeah,
Cup has
man.
so much translation, so little translation to the rest of the formats, and also like it's those
Such a
like making a
dusty,
whooper for Little
isn't
Cup is
it?
expensive, man. I don't know if you tried it. It's
Do
like
you know what I mean?
300 plus K does for a whooper. I'm like, what? It's
Never
XO.
me, never me. To be honest, with the
Yeah.
Master League, like I'm trying to personally get involved in it, and I have actually been using the Dragonite Double Steel team
Oh,
just
okay.
because like that's the most accessible. But like I said last week, yeah, over these last, I guess this last month with all the Go Fests, Raiden has been insane. Again, is partly due to being in like a really populated place where during the Go Fest there'll just be 20-person lobbies consistently. But
Mhm.
I think, like I said, with the remote raid nerf over this weekend, what was it? It was the Primals and Rayquaza. Like those are three really solid Pokemon. I don't know if you put them on the team together,
Mhm.
but like they're three really solid Pokemon that can kind of like carry your team through decent amount of elo. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think the one thing about Master League as well is it's probably important to find one team that you think is working and then just completely learn it. Because I think going back and forth from different teams tends to be a bit less forgiving in Master League because you find like the people who are best at it, they know all the interactions and they know
Mhm.
exactly how to play every single matchup with their team. There's this one Japanese streamer who's constantly like first page in the leaderboards during Master League rotations, and this guy has been using the same team for about 2 or 2.5 years,
What?
despite like all the
You really
changes and stuff
could.
like that. Yeah, yeah,
What
it
team
is.
is
Like,
it? It said like Dialga, Kyogre, or Togekiss or something because that thing's
no,
been around forever. Oh.
yeah, that sounds questionable. Um, no, it's like some Ho team, but it's like it's not a very standard looking team, but he's obviously like
Uh-huh.
mastered it and it's just been absolutely going wild within it. So I think that's like probably an important part is just like finding a team that
Mhm.
seems solid, whether you like copy it or something like that. But just the main thing is learning.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Mr. P says, this is regarding Ray Rizzo from BGC. Ray did not qualify due to Gen mods, nor was he banned. He went to play the final qualifying tournament with a new game file so he could ladder without people scouting his team, and apparently progress in the circuit is tied to the game file. That's a unfortunate way of not qualifying for Worlds. Ray Rizzo ended up being one of the casters for VGC though, so He was able to
Bit
do
of a
like
silver
10
lining,
worlds
I
in
guess.
some
Yeah.
respect. Yeah. Yeah,
Mm,
I didn't really talk to him too much, but we're definitely like in the break room together a lot and stuff like that, and saw him a few parts.
mm,
But he's the guy that won world championships 3 times in a row for VGC, which is literally one of the
insane.
craziest feats in the
Yeah.
world. I think Wolfie was one of the guys he beat too on the three-peat. So I know a lot of people say Wolfie is the goat of VGC, but I don't know. I think Ray Rizzo has something to say about it. But
I mean,
yeah,
this
imagine
guy
winning.
has been like, he's basically been retired for ages, yeah. And then every
Uh
year
huh.
he'll like come back, or like,
Hmm.
come back randomly, being like, you know what, I think I'm going to compete again. Yeah? And like taking this year for example, obviously he didn't manage to qualify, and I think this happens on a regular basis where he doesn't qualify due to some sort of like technicality of him living in Japan.
Hmm.
But he comes super, super close. And for someone who
Yeah.
just doesn't play the game on a regular basis, like,
Yeah.
that's
What's he?
champion
Do you
material.
know what he's doing in Japan? Is he just working like some other job or something?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. I think he's just like working. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I feel like a lot of gaming people are like data analysts. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
I feel like that
gotcha.
tends to go hand in hand.
He Yeah, I actually did talk to Gabby Snyder about this. I was like, "How is he so good?" And she said, he's like, I think he's a statistician or actuary or
Right.
something. He's some guy that does a lot of like math and statistics. And so for him, he was able to do a lot of calculations on the fly during his matchups.
Right.
Like, what are the odds of this happening, stuff like that. And I think that lended him to a lot of success in his battles, which is pretty nuts. But yeah, I mean, winning a
Yeah.
world championships 3 times in general is like a crazy feat in itself.
Wild.
3 years in a row. Like, imagine that third year you're Wolfie or anyone going up again is like, he's not going to win it again, is he? Right? Like, I got to be the one to end it, and it's not it. It's not it.
No,
So
mate, I'd quit the game at that point. I'd be like, is there any point?
yeah,
This guy
yeah,
again.
right.
Yeah,
301 Nav says, "Hey Caleb, it's nice meeting you at GoFest New York. It was great to talk to you about GBO, and I appreciate you gave me a team that could try for Fantasy Cup that I unfortunately can't build since Olo and Sandslash is quite expensive. And to Speedish Chief 2, I saw you in line at the battle tent, but was too chicken to say hello. Hopefully, we will cross paths again. Anyways, this question is for Caleb. When I met you at GoFest, you said you liked my love sick, like kind of like love this cat. But any chance you are a fan of Nujabes? He is considered a pioneer of lo-fi hip hop, and some of his notable works include part of the Samurai Champloo soundtrack, which most notably the opening Battle Cry featuring Shing O2, as well as Love Six Hexology featuring Shing O2. He's my favorite artist. No, I have not, but I would definitely check it out. I'm actually big into lo-fi in general. I mean, so when I work out, I listen to like dubstep, house music, electronic music, stuff like that. But when I'm just relaxing, it's more like pop or indie or lo-fi stuff. So definitely go check it out. But yeah, it was great to
yeah.
meet
I think
you.
I read somewhere recently how like Nujabes is kind of like the pioneer of like you see those YouTube videos of like lo-fi study room.
Uh-huh.
It's
I
just that
literally
little
have that
girl
all
in
recommended on my
it.
list,
Yeah,
like my list right on
yeah,
the
yeah.
screen right now. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. You'll probably be a fan, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
I
think he
use
died.
some for all my for most of my streams, I use like an Avatar The Last Airbender lo-fi mix.
Nice.
So it's a guy, he's somewhere in Europe. His name's Simon Greb,
Mm.
I think. And I just messaged him. I was like, "Hey, if I buy your music, can I use my YouTube videos and stream?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." So that's actually what I use for
Yeah.
most of my YouTube videos too. Yeah. Did I tell you the story about where Speedy's Chief was battling in the battle arena during GoFest in New
No.
York? Oh, no, if I didn't tell you, I didn't tell the podcast. It just reminded me because um Nat just reminded me because I saw them in that same area. But so Speedy, so I was working the event. I was like one of the coaches and stuff. Speedy wasn't. He was just attending as any trainer or player, and so he was lined up. There's a battle arena portion. We didn't have this in Osaka. They did have it in London last year as well, but this year too.
Mhm.
I know you obviously weren't at either because you were in Japan,
Yeah.
but essentially they have like a battle arena. You play up to three, blind three battles against random trainers. So you stand up to the battlefield, you be matched up against one trainer. If you win, you move on and you face someone else, and you can win up to 3 times. You get prizes. The prizes are pretty dope. You get like 2 elite charge TMs, like 3 rare
Yo,
XL candies, like 5 premium raid passes, stuff like that. It's pretty good.
yo.
And then yeah, exclusive GoFest 2023 pin, all the stuff, right? So people want to win. And so there's a line queued up for it and stuff like that. And sometimes you'll see like some really good trainers lining up. So I think like Yasser's opponent was Rise Occasion, which he was like, "Oh, dude, come on now!" Like I about this, right? And then you got other people that are just starting PP and they're running like a 1200 CP Flareon or something, right? Or like a Absol. So it could really be kind of a mixed bag depending on who you face. So I was in the coaching area, so it's right. I was like a tent right next to it, and so anyone that has questions, we can help them build teams, answering questions about PvP, or if they lose, you can line back up again. But they'll sometimes send you to coaches and be like, "Hey, like maybe check them out and see if you want any battling tips, stuff like that, right?" Because some of these trainers are very new and they don't know what to run. And so I'm in the tent PvP coach area. I see a bunch of people online, and Speedy's there and part of the line. And I actually vlogged this part too. I didn't come on my GoFest vlog yet, but I was recording it, so I'll drop it in sometime in the future. And I'm recording him battling, right? And he's on the battlefield battling, and then it's his first battle, and I believe he takes a loss because I can see him walking off the platform, and the staff members in the area was just chatting with him, right? And he was just like kind of like nodding. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, thank you," stuff like that. And I already knew. I was like, before I even saw Speedy, before he came closer to me, I already knew the staff member must have been like, "Hey, look, like if you need some help, we got some coaches over there, right?" And you can see Speedy like he's like obviously they don't know who Speedy is, so Speedy just like being polite and saying thanks and whatever. So I see him. I was like, what happened? He's like, "Man, I faced he faced a trainer named Skinny Black Man, who was actually a
Okay.
pretty good trainer from Virginia, if I remember correctly from Sylph days. So definitely wasn't some random person that Speedy battled, but he lost. And Speedy's like, "Yeah, the staff member told me like, hey, like if you need some additional tips, we got some coaches over there in the tent you could talk to." So he's like trying to be real polite and be like, "Yeah, yeah, okay." And you can see him like slowly walking towards me. I'm like cracking up. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, let me give you a type chart, Speedy. Let me see what we can do on your team." But
Oh man.
it was a pretty funny moment. I was gonna bring it up if he came back on the podcast, but he dodged that conversation too. So um going into the comments from the last episode, we got HK with the first comments, a classic. Ryan Colgrove says comment was this is regarding his comment on predicting access to second potential person to win it. World said comment was edited because of some spelling error. I got really annoyed when I reread comments or posts with spelling errors, so I'll just delete and repost. Comments on YouTube naturally are easy edit, but too much of a man of a principle to do that. I did call it even if he wasn't my first choice. I was there in Portland when him and Rubik's played, so it felt very full circle season for me. After Portland, he had me convinced. All right. Okay,
Okay.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Um yeah, the only one I
Elite.
know that had accent that high up on predictions for winning worlds. I'm sure like his family and his close friends probably
Yeah.
predicted him to do it too, but the only message I've seen online posted about it. Alex Miller says, I thought of this while you were talking about how many people play Go casually and don't pay attention to PvP. I'm in Pittsburgh area, and it's crazy how many people were playing Global Go Fest and didn't know a regional is coming to our city in 2 weeks. Most didn't even know
Mhm.
Go had a competitive circuit. See, that's what I'm saying. Hey,
Yeah.
Alex Miller, I hope hopefully you'll be at Pittsburgh. Maybe you'll be on stream. Look, definitely let us know if that's going to be you. Drop your train name down maybe in this video or something so we can look out for you too. But that'd be cool to see, a fellow listener of the podcast on the stage. But yeah, totally right. And I think part of it is, I think Niantic does send out some push notifications for people and stuff like
Oh,
that,
bro.
but maybe
I
not
mean, I
enough.
think I think
Yeah.
the wasn't the EUIC notification last year a
Oh,
week
dude, yeah.
after EUIC or
It
something,
I definitely remember
something like
seeing it
that.
after, and I thought it was my own game glitching, but I think that
Yeah,
notification was
yeah,
pushed a little late. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, hopefully, I don't know. I'm hopeful these days, but I'll talk
Yeah,
more about
definitely.
that, a little bit. And then our last comment from Majin Sage is hashtag where's Speedy. So hopefully you all know now where Speedy is. He is
Mhm.
he is doing okay, but he is on to his next venture in his content creator journey. So that being said, I was gonna ask how your Go Fest went, but also what I'm feeling is I feel like Niantic is kind of turning a new leaf, especially when it comes to PvP. And I feel like we've all said this maybe in the past before, but I don't know. I personally actually really feel it this time. I don't know what happened. Maybe internally they had some discussions or whatever, what have you. But I feel like of late it's been better. I mean, we had, like I said, the Softov and Speedy article leading up to Worlds.
Mhm.
We had, a lot of Worlds related spawns, Dancing Rob's research during Worlds. We also had, like, I don't know if people were paying attention on Pokemon Go's official Twitter account during Worlds. There were clips of battles
Yeah, that was
uploaded, and this
huge.
wasn't. Yeah, this wasn't like on the Play Pokemon Twitter or was retweeted from the Play Pokemon Twitter. It was actually just clips posted straight onto the Pokemon Go Twitter, which is huge because that's the main
And
Twitter
they were
that
relevant
if
clips as well.
and they're relevant, they were good. Yeah, they
Do you
weren't
know what I mean?
random.
Because you could see,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. It wasn't like a lone stand slash into Altaria, right? Shields up situation. Like it was a very they were relevant hype moments, which was
Mhm.
really cool. So um I think things are looking better and I'm feeling a little hopeful. I mean, we could talk about this too. The GoFest spawns. And we got Carbink like up the wazoo. Like who doesn't have a Carbink after this weekend is the real question, right? I
That
didn't
is
even
true.
walk a single like step of mine and I already have more than 300 XLs. You
What?
have yeah, I know.
I'm
Oh
doing
god.
what?
I'm catching.
Uh,
Yo, I'll talk more about
yeah,
that.
you
But
must have loads of Onyx XLs. Just saying, bro.
yeah, that's true. I do have
Yeah.
that too. Yeah, a bunch of PV related spawns like Lickitung.
Mhm.
Um, obviously at the New York Go Fest in Osaka, I think we had Shieldon, we had Amora, Tyrant, stuff like that. I mean, Tyrant's not that super meta relevant, but a lot of these PvP related spawns, and even the raids, right? Even you got like stuff
Yeah.
that now people can play more easily for Master League because you got all these like Master League relevant raids, um, and we have Ultra unlock coming up 4 times Stardust in like a
Mhm.
week, which is going to be crazy. And then we'll talk about this more too. We have Classic Community Day with Charmander coming up, which is obviously one
Yeah.
of the most prominent flyers in Play Pokemon as well as Ultra League, and you could even make it for extra resources. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm feeling kind of hopeful. I don't know about you. And we got Though Technical streaming again. So,
Bruv,
like it's
that
like
was big.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
PvP is
I make fun of
healing,
people for like not fully retiring and stuff, but I
Yeah,
am glad that when people are coming back into it, it's just like it's good to
exactly,
see
exactly.
that some people are
Yeah.
coming back into the game. So
I think, you know what, I
I don't
think
know.
though, coming back is like relatively significant because again, like when most people retire, yeah, like what are they doing? They're just not playing GBO. Yeah. This
Hmm.
guy decided to not go to the World Championships
Yeah.
and still decided to come back to the game. Yeah. So that's like,
Hmm.
real dedication into quitting and then,
Yeah.
reinvesting yourself again. So
Yeah.
I
He
think
left the
it's
creator
really
program too. He was part of the Niantic creator program as well. He said
good.
he left that
But
like when he was quitting and all the stuff. So he's back. I mean, I don't know. Things are looking
yeah,
pretty good for the most part. Um, but
yeah.
yeah, how
You
was
know
Go
what?
Fest for you, by
Honestly,
the
I
way? You
think
you're playing in Japan too, right? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I was still I was playing it in Osaka, just
Hmm.
because I was in the general
Yeah.
area. And yeah, bro, it was good. I think one thing for me, I'm not like an intense grinder. Yeah.
Uh huh.
And so for me, like when there's these kind of events on, I want to feel like I don't have too much to do, but I can still do everything I want to do. Yeah, because
Hmm.
there's a lot of things that I'm always just like, oh yeah, I really need to do this, this, and this. Yeah, I don't want it to feel like too overwhelming. And honestly, it didn't really. One slight unfortunate thing is that and this has been the case for like a year now, since I'm now on this side of the world, I don't get any advanced info on what the event's going to be like. So I kind of have to figure it out myself, which is a bit annoying.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah. Because it's
obviously,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, because
Right,
by
right,
the
right.
time it gets to you, bro, you know everything about it.
Dude,
Like you can
I'm
plan it
almost
out.
on the
Like,
other end of the world. Like it's like it's
yeah,
event's
you already
over
know
for
what's
you by
going
the
on
time it
day
gets
two.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. So that part is, if that wasn't the case, I could have like, optimized a bit more. But the first zone being insane for Stardust, um,
Crazy.
insane, and you could just focus on that. And then there was the whole like,
Mhm.
when you get the bonus, you get the double Stardust as well. So like, bruv,
Yeah.
I don't know how much I got this weekend, yeah, but I'm on an all-time high. Just so you know,
Same. Well, not all time
yeah.
high. All time high since PvP dropped. Yeah, which
Okay, I
is
wasn't playing
pretty
before that, so
pretty
I'm
cool.
definitely at all-time high. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, what's your Stardust
Also,
at?
like 4.5 mil.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Respect.
I'm
Yeah,
just over
yeah.
3 mil. Yeah, 4.5 mil is good.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So yeah, then
yeah.
maybe we do need to start off that. Yeah, let's go. Um,
You feeling good about
also,
it? Do you
all-time
have
high
any
with
idea? Because I gained about 1 million, but I don't know if you have any
I
rough
have
idea of how
no
much
idea.
Stardust you gain.
No
Okay,
idea.
okay. I'm trying to gauge it for a bet
Uh,
coming up, but yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Um, all-time high on charge TMs. Now, obviously, this is just due to like doing raids, but
Yeah.
um, I mean, it's nice to know that that won't be an issue in the immediate future. Um, and then I think again for people who are like focusing on PvP and stuff, it was like a majority of the stuff you most likely already had.
Uh-huh.
So if you're like a veteran in the game, yeah, like a majority of the things you probably already have built or like have good versions of them, and so you can kind of steer your focus to things like cobbing.
Hmm.
And with cobbing being available in like tasks and stuff
Yeah.
like that, I think it was good. It was like a balanced day.
I forgot about Pachirisu too. Pachirisu
Yeah,
spawning
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
Dude,
Pachirisu as
I
well.
have a
Yeah,
ton of Pachirisu. No hundo
same,
though, but
same.
I'm like I got lucky Pachirisu traits
I
to
get
come for
lucky,
years. Yeah. Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like
That's good.
honestly, yeah, it didn't feel like there was any shortage. It didn't feel like a rare spawn. If anything, like there was some times when I was getting like 3 or 4 Pachirisu in a row, and I was
Uh-huh.
like, they're really,
Yeah.
they're really trying to push the rare
The
spawns, which is amazing. Yeah.
yeah. I honestly could have got more if my Go Plus Plus wasn't messing up stuff. Like I think like a ton of Carbink and Pachirisu ran on me from the Go Plus Plus, but like I said, I got plenty of XL Carbink candies, so I'm over
How
3
did you do that though? 'Cause, bro, I was trying to grind XL carbon candies, and I was not having
So,
the best time doing it.
oh, you wanna know why I have so much? Because I went to New
Uh,
York Go Fest too. I didn't just go to Osaka Go Fest, so I
okay,
had a
okay,
bunch from
okay,
there.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, right,
So,
right, right.
so that was part of it. I actually made the mistake of not excelling. I guess it doesn't matter too much. So I excelled a Kyogre for the
Okay,
first
okay.
day. So I was like, okay, if I do any Groudon raids, extra damage, and then you get 3 boosted stuff for it, like
Mhm.
Bug, Water, and Electric. And I was mostly going for Electric because I need more Pachirisu XL candy. I don't really need more Carbink XL, obviously, because I have enough to make it. So I wasn't even
Yeah.
trying to prioritize the Carbink XL, but otherwise, I think I should have gone for like fair Altaria Mega or something, right? For the fairy and the
Mm,
dragon. Which that's
yeah,
what I did for
yeah.
day number two
Like
because it's Rayquaza.
Aerodactyl, I guess.
Yeah,
Was
Aerodactyl's a good
also
one too. Yeah, yeah. So Aerodactyl or Altaria would be good for day number two, which is what I did. Because it was Rayquaza raids, and I was like, I'll just focus on the Carbink XL at this point. So
yeah,
I have a bunch. I still have a bunch in my inventory to swap still too. So
yeah.
we're good. We're good. But yeah,
Bro,
I
I'm
got a pretty
literally like
decent
waiting.
Carbink.
Yeah, I'm waiting for these move updates, because like
Mhm.
I haven't traded a single one. I'm just like as soon as
You
those
haven't traded
updates
any
drop,
Carbink?
yeah.
Oh.
No, because I'm waiting. As soon as the updates drop, I'm gonna jump on PV Poke, start like just making sure there's no like bulk points, break points missed. Yeah, that sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
So there's actually quite a bit.
Yeah,
Um, so there's a reason to run a very high attack one because it has a breakpoint against Lantern, and I think
okay.
even Azumarill with Rock Throw, and like you are able to win the one shield against Lantern, if you land a Moonblast. However, like you said though, there's a moveset update coming up. By
Exactly,
the time you all
exactly.
listen to this, it might have already dropped. And if they just completely change how Lantern works, that changes all the sims
Mm,
too, right?
yeah,
So that's why in my opinion, breakpoints and bulk points are good to know, but IVs and high stat product is timeless, right?
yeah,
Breakpoints and
that's
bulk points can change based on how certain moves change down the road and stuff like that against different Pokemon,
Mm.
and that you can't ever count for because you don't know what's going to happen. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, so obviously we are recording this on the Tuesday in US time, and the recent GBL season has not dropped yet. Hopefully it's
Bro,
dropped by the time you listen to this. But we could only put off this episode so long. So we did our
I'm
best. But
feeling like you know that one Dave Chappelle character where it's
which
like
one?
you gotta need those pixels. I'm not doing. You
Yeah,
gotta need
yeah,
those
yeah.
updates. You know? I've been waiting, bro. Yeah.
Dude, that's an old school show. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I used to have the Dave Chappelle season 2, I think, sketch comedy on DVD, the unrated version. And my mom
What?
found out I had it. Well, she bought it for me. She didn't know what it was off of Amazon, right? Because I didn't have my own Amazon account. And then
Wait, she bought it for you and didn't know what it was. What did
she
she
didn't
think
know
it
what it
was?
was. I just said it was just like some DVD I wanted, and so she bought it for
Oh,
me. And then I was watching with my neighbor. My neighbor's dad walked in on us watching. He was like, "What is this?" And then he told me, and then she took it away from me. But I managed to finish the whole season. Yeah,
no.
some interesting comedy. But um, okay, so and we have Ultra Unlock coming next week, which we don't have info on yet. It's a bunch of question marks everywhere, but we do know for a fact that there's going to be 4 times Stardust for catches.
Four
4 times, which is the most I've ever
times.
seen, I think. At least for
I've
this
never
longer
seen
event.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We've seen triple dust. We've never seen 4 times dust. We've seen like boosted spotlight hours, like Meowth or something, or Alolan Meowth spotlight
Mm-hmm.
hours where you get extra dust or like Shelter or stuff like that. But the actual multiplier 4 times we've never seen. Yo, I have a
Yeah.
bunch of card being stacked too on top of some Onyx in my research. So I got some stuff to catch. Yeah, I got some stuff to catch. So I think that's from September 5th to the 10th. Now, I talked about this a little off air with Anicor, and I feel like, what better to introduce him as an official co-host of the Battlecast podcast than starting off with a, nice little bet. And he said he wanted me to take some L, so he wanted to be the man to do it. So
Yeah,
here's
bro.
your chance. So here's my idea. We take a screenshot of whenever the event goes live in our time zone, right? So September
Mm-hmm.
5th, my time. I'll send you a screenshot of my dust total. And then we send each other a screenshot of our total dust when the event ends in our time zone. Or maybe we'll reveal it on the podcast, right? We'll have a screenshot
Okay,
show it.
okay.
But here's the thing, right? Whatever Stardust you use between the 5th to the 10th, like that's on you, right? It's only the starting total versus the end total. So whatever you got to make, power it up or don't power up anything for 5 days, right? That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
uh
yeah.
that's the
I've
main thing.
got
Just
what's it? You know the Battle Frontier.
uh-huh.
The yeah, that's starting roughly.
Oh, are you playing on Hidden
Yeah,
Power or okay?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So but
you better plan that out.
yeah, no, the week starts on the 8th, so I might just like wait a couple of days and then
Push your
try
battle
to.
back. Yeah,
Yeah,
like yo, I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
battle until the 11th. You better
yeah,
hope your
yeah. I
opponent
got
doesn't hear this episode.
yeah, true that, true that,
Be like, oh, he said he's sick until the 10th.
yeah.
Meanwhile, you're out. Yeah, you're outside grinding for all those days.
Yeah.
What do you want the punishment to be?
Ah, I don't know, bruv. You make these all the time, innit? Yeah. So you obviously have a have a good idea of what's acceptable or not. I don't know. What's been the standard so far for like a Stardust bet?
Yeah, I don't, honestly, I don't remember what the punishment has been for Stardust bets. Oh, actually, I do I do know some of them, but I think Speedy hasn't filled on some of them. So I didn't
Oh,
actually see the outcome. I think like one of them was like you had to use like a mammal swine or something in Great League. Oh, you know what it should be? Um Man, what's a
Hmm.
not great Pokemon to use in Open Great League?
In Open
Like
Great League.
yeah,
Uh,
Shadow Ampharos?
Garbodor.
I mean
Yeah,
Garbo
you
is
can get some
bad.
wins out of Shadow Emperor.
Yeah, I guess he
I
can.
mean, you have to be pretty good with it, you know. Let's pray for an
Yeah.
update. Ah, let's pray for you for an update, you know.
Okay, how about this? Trevenant. Trevenant is
No.
really hard to use.
Okay.
Trevenant hard super hard to use
I
these
think that's
days.
doable as well. Yeah, I think that's
Okay,
doable.
so how about this? Um for the loser, you have to play
Mhm.
a full 25 battles on uh one of the Great League like when Great League, Open Great League is back in rotation using Trevenants.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't
Yeah,
stream,
yeah.
right?
I don't. No, no, no.
You know what you
I'll
could do?
report them.
You could
That, I
just
mean,
you could
say
hop
I'll
on my
report them.
stream.
You'll
Hop on my
report
stream. Yeah.
them. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you can hop on my stream where you can send the battles or
Yeah,
something just
yeah,
so people can see how it goes, right? Because
yeah.
we'll talk about this later. We're gonna probably do a race to legend bet. So the loser is really struggling in two regards. One, you have to use a bad Pokemon, but two, you're slowing down your own progress to get to legend. I like it.
That is
It's
true. That is true. Hey, bro.
yeah.
Here's the thing. Yeah, we'll slow down your progress. Yeah, like if the unfortunate occurs, yeah, and I end up having to use Trevenant, new meta. Let me just say,
Oh yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna make
Okay.
that thing look like the old days. You know what I mean?
All right. I'll just put it in writing right now. So loser uses Trev
Yeah, I
for
better
the
not
full
lose,
day.
bro.
All right.
Because
Let's see. Let's see how it goes.
we're really,
That's a
really
nice
talking
little
things up.
ease into the bets, and of course
Yeah,
you take a loss on the leaderboard too as well, right? The all time
yeah,
bets
that's true.
leaderboard.
That's true. Yeah.
So we'll do that.
You know what? Also, I'm gonna be handicapped as well because I'm flying. Um, I'll be flying within that time frame, and I
Yeah,
think
but
I have.
you get time back though, because how long's the flight?
Is that how it works?
Yeah, how long's your
Uh,
flight?
I think it's like a whole day because there's like a layover in China. Apparently, Pokemon's banned in China.
Well, it depends on what part
Um,
of China you're in. You'll be in like Beijing,
Shanghai.
China.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I don't know.
yeah,
Do they? I don't. I guess I don't think you can play. I know you can play in like other parts of China, but I don't think you can play in Shanghai. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so you have a
yeah,
layover, but you get some
yeah.
hours back. I mean, but here's the
Oh,
difference. You're
uh,
in Japan. You be in Japan for a good portion of the event, and that's like
that's
Pokemon
true.
Go
That's
heaven,
true.
right? Like,
Yeah,
I'm stuck. I'm stuck. My area is not that good, right?
that is
I have
true.
a
That is
Pokestop,
true.
but that's it. I have like no
But,
spawns.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, okay. Well, hey, let's take a look and see. Drop your predictions down. Who you think is gonna win it? Because
Yeah, man.
yeah, 5 days.
Caleb's reign of terror is over. Yeah.
That's why I was trying to
This
gauge.
is why the casters keep on. This is why the guests keep on leaving. Yeah,
Okay,
like
look,
nobody
I'll
is.
put it this way. I maybe had like one or two bets with Zionic. We didn't even have a bet. We just had like a competition. Nothing was even on the line. I felt kind of bad because he's a family man. He's got like kids and stuff, and like it was back when one of our first competitions. Like, hey, let's see who get the most amount of XL Stunfisk, right? I think Galarian
Okay.
Stunfisk or Unova Stunfisk are smaller in the wild, and neither of us had an Ultra League Stunfisk at the time. And it was when XL's first dropped. So we're going around. I came back. I was like, "Oh, I got this many. How much did you get?" He's like, I was just at home all week. I was just doing on incense from time to time." Well, this is. I kind of stopped doing the competition with him because I was just like, "This is not fair, right? It just doesn't feel
Yeah,
like it's it's a thing." And
yeah.
then
I guess
Speedy
you
put
need
up a good fight,
the
but
flexibility.
a what?
You need that the flexibility to commit in it. So I guess yeah,
Yeah,
both that'll
yeah,
be a bit long.
yeah. So, Anicor's motivated. I feel like this is how everyone is, right? They start out motivated, like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
yeah.
the
It's
one to
true. It's
take
true.
Caleb down. And then reality sets in
Hey,
eventually.
hey. New leaf for Niantic. Yeah, new leaf for these bets as well. Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. That's why I was trying to figure out how much Stardust you got at GoFest because I could like gauge maybe where your catches are. Actually, we're
Bro,
not even
honestly,
friends in
I
the game.
couldn't.
We're not even friends in game, so I can't. I don't even know how many total catches you have.
Yeah, I have
You should-
no idea as well in it. I don't know. Again, I'm not a grinder in it yet, so I'm just taking this bet based on vibes. Like
hey,
just
it's a
assuming.
this is a win-win
Nah,
because even if you don't win the bet, but you go all out and you catch more than you usually do, I'm prepping you for next season. You got all these
that's true.
resources. You can be well
It's the
prepped
last
and
few
well
matches.
stocked for these tournaments.
That's
So
true.
we'll see how that goes. But yeah, and then we do have some information. So speaking about accessibility, right? Like we talked about
Mm.
earlier, there's Charmander Community Day coming up. This was actually leaked from Leak Duck, but it's we're gonna
I
talk
think
about it
they did
because
do like the Pokemon account did do like a little fire thing, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it wasn't confirmed which fire Pokemon was. I think you talked about like please no Magmar. I was like, yo, it could have been
Yeah,
Cyndaquil,
yeah,
right?
bro.
Like it could be a couple different things. It could be
Yeah,
Emboar, right? But luckily
yeah.
it's
I
probably
bet, bro, that was worrying me.
yeah.
Can't lie, the Embo.
Yeah, luckily it's the best one. And again, this is leaked somewhere, so not confirmed 100%, but it seems very likely. And again, we didn't do the data mining ourselves, so we're not encouraging it, but it is information out in the public, so we're going to discuss it, especially because it's coming up this Saturday. So it's going to be this upcoming Saturday, the
Yeah.
second from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Community Day Classic, which is going to be featuring Charmander. And we don't know what the bonuses are besides maybe
Mhm.
3-hour incense and lures, but increased spawns. And then if you evolve it, you can get. We don't know what the moves they can get is. Hopefully, it's both
I
Blast
think
Burn
last time,
and
yeah,
Dragon Breath.
last time it was both, right?
I can't remember. I think. Well, this is the third
Because
time. I think so. I think the first time was Blast Burn. The second time was Dragon Breath. So it was only one
no,
both
but the
times.
last
But
classic. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, we had another Charmander Classic.
I'm pretty sure. Look, because I recall being able to like evolve
There
my
was
Charmander and get both moves at the same time.
No, you're not wrong about that. There was some events. I don't remember if it was a classic event or there was some event where you were able to get both. Yeah, but you're right though. The
Okay.
last time you were able to get the exclusive moves by evolving, you were able to get both moves. I don't remember
Mhm.
which event it was. Maybe it was maybe they had a classic, or it was some like starter event, something like
Yeah.
that. I think it might have been starter event. Anyway, that would be ideal because well, you don't really need drag. You honestly need wing attack, but blast burn
Yeah.
is necessary for sure, right? So, but having dragon breath is kind of nice in case you do want a dragon breath variant one.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that'll again a great thing to have, especially because we have newer players coming into the game and stuff like that. So um, they definitely need some of that stuff because it's pretty strong for PvP. It didn't look that good at Worlds actually, but I think that's because everyone's over
I think
prepared
everyone
for it.
expected it though. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I think Inadequance ran it, which was probably the only person I remember that ran it the furthest with a Shao Charizard. Um, maybe there was on some other teams. I just don't remember anyone
I feel like there
specifically.
was a
Yeah.
pretty high up
Actually, yeah,
Shadow
Dracovish has a
Charge.
graphic with everyone's thing on it, right? The top
Yeah.
36, so we can actually see off of that. But I don't, I don't know. I don't remember.
So average and Chiodo. So Chiodo came sixth, I think. He ran Shadow
Oh, had the
Charizard.
Shadow Charizard. Yep. Chiodo did, and then Inadequate. Oh,
Inadequate.
Avrip did too.
No, not Scuffer. Yeah,
Yeah,
Averip did as well.
yeah. I
Uh,
think they
I,
all tied though. So it was Avrip, Inadequate,
mm,
Tauntaun, Human Catcher Bug, of
yeah,
course,
so
with
I guess
Flareon.
Chiodo was
Yeah,
probably the furthest.
yeah. The only person in the top 8 that had it,
Mm.
which is I mean, yeah, that's
Yeah,
quite a
yeah,
drop, at
it's
least
not.
compared to NAIC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Considering
even
that
NAIC
nothing really new
was
came
a
out,
bit of a
yeah.
blip.
True, yeah, 2 out of the top 2 out of the 3, I guess, had it, but yeah.
No, no, as in like a blip compared to other
Oh,
events.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
agreed, agreed. Yeah, so definitely, yeah, definitely a good one to play for sure. Um, But speaking of, impact in the Play Pokemon meta stuff, we got some news from Play Pokemon this season from the championships circuit, and there's quite a few things. One, they dropped the international dates, and we talked about this a little
yeah.
bit on the last podcast. You're like, oh, hopefully I can catch OCIC and EUIC, so double dip
Hey.
and stuff. And it'd be embarrassing if you don't qualify because you got two
Hey, no
internationals under your belt.
embarrassment for me, no more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no embarrassment for Anicor now because OCIC has been canceled, unfortunately. So we only have
yeah.
3 internationals now. So Yakovic, the one and only international champion of Oceania
Hmm.
that there ever will be for Go, which is
Yeah,
uh,
that's quite a feat,
immortalized.
to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, with
Yeah,
that win
yeah.
record too.
I think it's an interesting decision, but like I kind of see it, but I think okay, this is the case with like most of the CP decisions. So I guess we're going to go into it a bit. But looking at the okay, should we go over the CP first?
Well, we can talk about the international if you want, real quick, since we're on that topic.
Well, okay, so due to how much CP internationals give, Essentially, especially with so they've they've given different benchmarks for different regions for how much
Yeah,
CP you need to qualify for World.
yeah.
And
And CP for those
Oceania
listening,
makes sense.
it's championship points for those that don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, Champions.
yeah.
And so yeah, Oceania is like on the lower end where
Hmm.
they only require 300 to qualify, which makes sense because again they've got like 5 events or something like that. That said, if OCIC was still existing, then essentially the top eight pretty much qualify because so eight till like fourth get 250 CP. So you're 50 CP away from qualification.
Yeah.
So that's top eight plus the other four regionals. Like, let's say, for example, only the winner qualifies in the other four regionals. So that's like 12 qualifiers from Oceania, which, again, it's essentially one or two countries if you include New Zealand. So
Hmm.
it feels a bit unbalanced. Um, so I do understand why they made that decision. Um, I think Oceania itself would have been a more ideal event if more Asians were actually going and attending. But again,
Agreed.
this is essentially like, you know, an international championship for just one country.
Hmm.
And, not even a super high population country either.
Hmm.
Again, no hate on Australia or anything like that, but in terms of like balancing. That
Yeah.
said, without local tournaments, I think it does make it a bit difficult for the Australians because you've got four regionals. And so roughly you're looking at maybe six people qualifying
Yeah. I
without
think they said they're going
without
to add more
locals.
tournaments, right? Or did they already? Is that
Yeah, I
including the
mean
added tournaments?
that's including the added. So this is assuming that like because they haven't listed Sydney,
Hmm.
but this is assuming that Sydney does go ahead. So that will be like all four the four regionals that they'll have. And yeah, you kind of need locals, I think, to really bolster that because again, it's four opportunities. Australia is a bit like the US, where flying around is a bit expensive. So
Hmm.
Perth, for example, probably
Really?
still won't get a huge turnout. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
bro, like I was saying, yeah, it was cheaper for me to fly to Japan than it was to fly to Perth.
Why is
Which
that? Because it's not the biggest country either, right? Like United States is kind of big, so like it makes sense why it's more
yeah,
expensive. But
I have no idea. And I imagine maybe it's to maybe like plane routes. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
Where it's like maybe they're just not going there that often. Um, so yeah,
interesting.
Perth regional, you probably still have a relatively low turnout compared to the other three. So
Hmm.
it does kind of mean that for everyone living in the more populated areas, you just have three opportunities.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think I mean, no Australian is going to consider it a positive.
Yeah.
I think it's necessary, but I think they need to supplement the missing international with locals. I think that's the only solution there.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think like I don't know if their solution to taking away is ideal, but I could understand, and you had to people had to understand too. This was not like there's no international for Go, but there is for VGC and TCG. There's no international championships for any of the games in
Mhm,
Pokemon Go, in Pokemon for Oceania,
mhm,
and so I will say at least from a Go perspective, but also as a caster that saw some of the other games at Oceania, like it is definitely by far the smallest international. Uh, but due to maybe venue size and amount of spaces, but on top of that, the participation was definitely lower than some other internationals, right? And
yeah,
a part of it's just like there's only so many people in that region, so only so many people can attend, and
exactly.
hosting an international tournament for the Pokemon Company is way more costly than just a regional, right? And, I mean, especially because internationals they need huge, like just the broadcasting of international in general is costly, right? All the equipment, setting up all the stage, stuff like that. Like you've been to EUIC, last year, right? Like EUIC,
No, no,
and
no.
even wait, what?
I was at OCIC last
Oh,
year.
yeah,
Actually, I missed
OCIC. Okay,
UIC
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
unfortunately.
You missed, yeah, but you saw
Yeah,
the production at OCIC
yeah,
compared
yeah,
to like a standard regional is a huge different like budgetary
yeah,
ask, right? And so for unfortunately, because there's not as much attendee, then it's a little tough. And like you said, it's for mostly just one or two countries because if
Mhm.
all of like all the Japanese players, all the Malaysian players, all the players from Taiwan or India, all the stuff were going to Oceania for the international championships, then that'd definitely be a different story.
Yeah,
And I,
agreed.
I agree with you. I mean, I don't think anyone from Australia is happy about it because they lost a huge opportunity, and for them too, there's no official broadcast in their region, so that's like their
Yeah,
best chance to showcase their local talent, right? And they also live very far from everything else, so for them to fly to the nearest IC is like that's an
yeah,
expensive flight, no matter which IC you're trying to go to, right? I don't care what the
yeah,
closest is, like LATAM, like it's
yeah.
just it's tough. Um, but I
But do you know
think
what? I think that's an interesting point, right? The flying to ICs, because this, and again, this is when we get into the CP changes, this will be more apparent. But it does seem like these changes have been made with using sort of like VGC or TCG as a template, right? But not taking into consideration that there's certain things in place in those games that we don't have that makes the CP system a bit more viable. So one example being they play Swiss where we play double elimination. So
mhm,
you know the CP system is a bit more viable in Swiss because it rewards consistency, whereas some tournaments you're gonna win two matches and then gain 100 CP, and some of them you're gonna lose two matches straight away, and it's not gonna really reflect your ability. Um, in addition, in the other games, people are able to earn travel awards to ICs as the season goes on. So whoever's like, I think it has to do with who's top on the CP table or something like that. But yeah, you're able to earn travel awards. So you do get, like, for example, players from Australia who are able to travel to, let's say EUIC or NAIC because they've got the travel stipend. So we don't have that, which again kind of restricts the opportunity, I think.
mhm, yeah, yeah. I think we're gonna say. I think I'm very curious to see at the end of this upcoming season what the breakdown is of total participation from each region, right? Because then we could
Hmm.
do a comparison of how that looks compared to this season. Um, because I think like
Yeah,
if let's say it's highly overrepresented by let's say NA or EU players and stuff like that compared to like proportionally, right? Compared to last season, then we're gonna definitely see a I don't know. There might be a reason to change it. I mean, you can make the argument that maybe those proportions were supposed to be how they were supposed to be. I don't know. Either way, it's gonna be a little unfortunately a little tougher our OCIC players. Um, but hopefully they can figure it out too because we obviously have some really good players there because a lot of them made top cut and
yeah.
even though they had probably the smallest amount of fewest amount of players from their specific region outside some of the very specific APAC countries. Um, that being said, you want to break down the championship points?
Yeah, so championship points. So, as we learned previously, um, we'll be moving to a system where um, to qualify for Worlds, you'll have to earn championship points. And championship points, you can earn them from entering regionals, internationals, and then also locals. But still, even despite this new update, locals are still restricted to NA for now. They have said that that's only the case for the start of the 2024 season. So hoping that they roll out locals to other regions. I feel like it's very important that they do. But for now, it's just NA.
Mm-hmm.
And like we mentioned earlier, each region has a different number of CP required to qualify for Worlds. So
Mm-hmm.
the US and Canada require 500 CP, and that's the most out of all the regions. After that, you have Europe with 400, and all the remaining regions, or I should say, okay, so Oceania and Latin America require 300. And then I think so it says MISA. I think this is like Middle East and South Africa,
Hmm.
um, which requires 200. And I did notice that this year they, or like when they started announcing this season, they started making mention to like Russian regionals and South African regionals. So I don't know if those have ever happened before in like the other games, but I think that's interesting. I don't know what the player base is like in those sorts of regions, but um, yeah, that's an interesting change. So they only require 200.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you know what region Mexico count as? Does it count as LATAM?
yeah, so I think because they
Okay.
specifically said US and Canada for the 500, that
Yeah.
they're just pulling Mexico into Latin America.
Okay. Gotcha.
So they only require 300. Now, okay, first of all, your take on the US and Canada, because obviously you're, you know, from North America. That's your region. Like, how do you feel about 500 points?
Okay, yeah. Let's just move up the hot tea segment up to this
Okay.
portion of the podcast because that's pretty much what I was gonna go for there. But yes, so I actually did tweet this out after I saw them announce it because even though I'm a commentator, like swear like I didn't know any of this info coming into it, right? Like I got the info right when everyone else did. But they revealed the Go Championship points and stuff like that, like you covered. US and Canada have the most at 500 points. And so I just tweeted, I was like, oh, these point requirements seem kind of high, And for example, like if you're in North America, US or Canada, and you win two second place finishes at regionals three times, um, you still don't qualify. Just that alone. So you still have to participate in some locals or international, etc., or go to some other tournaments and place a little bit under the second place finish. But finishing second place three times is not enough, which is kind of a lot in my opinion. I mean, I finished. I like so. Obviously, my record this past season was like twice second and then one time like 17th place or something, right? And so that would definitely not be enough to qualify for world championships. Not saying that just because I qualified last year, I should qualify again
No,
this
but
year,
your
right?
record last year was like one of the best in general. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
if that doesn't qualify, then
Right,
yeah, the bar is
right.
pretty
So but I will say that especially they specified specifically that only NA has locals for
high.
sure. Like
Yeah,
they don't have
yeah,
any in
yeah.
Europe or anything.
No, no, no.
Oh, okay. So I
They
will
said at least for now.
for now. Okay.
Um, yeah, so hopefully that means they are rolling out. But yeah, for now it's just an.
I will say that if it holds true, which I don't think it will, but if it holds true that only North America has locals, then the biggest hits on the championship points bar is actually going to be EU and not NA because
Mhm.
EU's is like 400 points, which is definitely less than NA. But we have all these local tournaments potentially that you could boost up your rankings more on, whereas
Right.
EU literally has to go to only these regionals and internationals to qualify, which is way harder to do in my opinion. So I think if that's the case, EU is going to be the biggest, like was going to have the biggest hurdle in my opinion. But
I'd say
I wouldn't be
Latin
surprised
America
if they add it. Latin
because
America as
like
yeah, Latin
I
America is
mean
as well. I mean, honestly,
300
all
is
the
low.
regions, you
Yeah,
know.
I mean I think one of the issues. Okay, so with Latin America, it's like 300 is obviously lower, but most of the regionals last season were in Brazil. So,
Yeah.
a player who's not in Brazil, you're kind of forced to travel. And I think there was a few Chilean players who did travel around. But there was like
Hmm.
or something like that,
Hmm.
Nobody was really traveling around like into Brazil and attending those Brazilian regionals aside from other Brazilians. So I think there's an issue there for them if there's no locals. How will they
Yeah.
supplement the points? And then I think, yeah, what you were saying about Europe is true as well. I think one issue as well with Europe is that, and I don't know if this is technically a balance, but it's like, okay, so, US requires more points, but the attendance at a lot of these places, at a lot of these events, tends to be a lot lower. Um,
Hmm.
and if we're looking at the difference in, so just looking at the how many points you would earn from an event. Um, if you have up to 48 players in an event, then the top 16 will earn points.
Hmm.
The next bar is 80 players for the top 32, and then 128 players for the top 64. So you can kind of safely assume that a majority of US events are going to be below the 128. So it means that like 32 to 64 players um, will gain points. The next bar is 256. So considering that a lot of the EU events tend to be a lot bigger, you're only you still need to reach 256 players to actually then have points distributed down to like the top 128. So
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it balances as much. So you've got way more people going to EU events, meaning that you kind of have to perform a lot better as well for you to, have the opportunity to actually earn points. So,
The thing is there's a kicker, right? Like you said, like 128 is a
mm,
kicker for more points, 256. But a lot of times for our tournaments, we're either capped at 128 or 256. So let's say the cap is
yeah,
128. You need all 128 to show up, right? Like even if you cap the registration, if one person no shows, which there's always no shows, right? There's always no shows. That kicker's gone. Your kicker is 80
is that how they
after
work it
that.
out?
I think so. That's my guess. I don't think it's
Oh,
the amount registered. I think it's the amount attended. So
that's
that
even
that
worse.
yeah, so unless they raise the cap to 512 for
Uh
go
huh.
or beyond 256, that
You're never
256
going to reach
kicker
that.
is never, yeah, you're never going to get it. Yeah. So it's never going to be, that's my guess. I don't know. Anyone listening that works for TPCI or, that knows more than me, feel free to drop comments down below cuz I'm just a commentator. I don't know all this stuff, right? But in my mind that would make sense, right? Like, let's
Mhm.
say we have 256 register for Pittsburgh and 240 show up, right? It doesn't
Yeah,
make sense for them to have championship points for that 65th to 128
that's
spot,
true.
right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know. That's
yeah.
just my
Because
guess,
otherwise,
but
also, I guess you'd have like like how Utrecht special event last year,
yeah.
where you had some people who didn't attend and got through to like fourth round
Yeah,
winners. Yeah, bro. Imagine earning championship points
yeah,
from your sofa at home. Like,
dude,
yeah,
you
that's
definitely
true.
have more
That's
people
true.
signing up and no showing at that point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, this is the issue we might have with Barcelona as well. So,
Mhm. Yeah,
um,
exactly. So that is
yeah,
definitely something. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think I think you're right. Like, it's tough for LATAM. It's honestly tough for a lot of regions. I mean, we just talked about OCIC losing and stuff.
yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, even before championship points, qualifications was never fair. I mean, you got two people from India going to World Championships to qualify. No, none of them even were able to
yeah.
go. Right? You have like two from like some of these smaller APAC countries or not even small countries. They just
Mhm.
only have so many opportunities. Obviously, that's hosted by TPC, and the TPCI is the one that hosts for all the other regions. So of course, I'm not blaming anyone, but at the end of the day, the qualification for World Championships was never fair, and it's it's probably not going to be fair this year. Completely fair, right? There might be some parts that's fair.
Yeah.
I will say that looking back on my tweet, right? Um, I'm actually going to kind of change my tune a little bit because I was like, that seems like a lot,
Okay.
right, for NA. But honestly, like, yes, it is a lot, but there are opportunities to get those points. Whereas for
Mhm.
countries like, for countries in Oceania, or for like Oceania, or for countries in APAC, or for a lot of the Latin countries outside of Brazil, like, it's hard to even go to the tournaments needed for these things, right? Like for the United States or for Canada, you know where you need to go, right? It's just like, do you want to put the money down or not, or you got to perform well in the few you go to, but you at least have more opportunities. It just depends on the cost if it's worth it or not. Whereas some of these other countries, even if you're willing to pay, you just can't go, right? You have limited spots. They might fill up really quick. or they're just too far, whole different country, you need a passport for all this stuff, right? So, I guess a passport thing, like you should probably get a passport anyway if you want to go worlds,
Yeah.
but I think, yeah. So I think, and here's my hot take on the situation after reflecting on my tweet a little bit. Um, I think, yeah, it's a different system, and I actually looked at some general spreadsheet of players that would have qualified based on the system
Right.
last season, when it was championship points versus not. I think some notable trainers that would have qualified that didn't qualify are like Onion Frank or like Nino and stuff like that. Like maybe even Meteor Folian. I don't think Bastian Shadow Big Guy, but like a lot of these
Hey.
trainers that gone to a lot of these tournaments. Yeah, that dude's been to a lot of
Yeah.
tournaments.
Yeah,
But a
man.
lot of these people that have gone to a lot of tournaments that came close, maybe finished third place or fourth. I know like Onion Frank and Nino both finished in top four before, right? They just didn't qualify
Mhm.
based off of that. So they would have qualified. Whereas other trainers, I think like I was looking at it, Axon barely qualifies based on championship points alone,
Wow.
assuming the Portland win doesn't auto qualify him, right?
Right.
Assuming that's the case, like even adding up all those points, like he barely qualifies. But that being said, he didn't really perform as well at NAIC, and
Mhm.
internationals grant you a ton of points. So this
Yeah.
is probably a good reason to like go to internationals. And EUIC sold out last year. NAIC kind of sold out, but a lot of people no showed. So, but it'll hopefully have more reason for people to go to these internationals, which
Yeah.
honestly is pretty hype in itself. And my take is this: regardless of if it's harder to qualify this year or not, and this is my hot take, so feel free to agree with it or not. You're not If you can't qualify through this new method, you're not winning worlds anyway. So save
Well,
yourself the
okay,
trip,
so
right?
here's the other thing I want to bring
That's
up.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the other thing is that is this system pay to win? You know, are you
Uh
rewarded for going to more events? And I think
I
this is
think
something that like I discussed with some EU trainers as well, where they, they can go to like one or two events. They don't feel like they can go to like three or four events in the year. So it's like if they don't auto qualify on that first
yeah,
opportunity, then
yeah,
it's
win it
like,
all, huh?
well, yeah, exactly.
Uh, I think I don't know if I call it pay to win, but I call it pay to qualify. I think you could definitely pay
Right.
yourself to a qualification. If you're in some
Yeah,
regions, like
yeah.
specifically, I think specifically NA, if you go to like enough of these tournaments, you can get yourself a
Mhm.
qualification. Now, the thing is, if you're constantly going like, you're placing like top 32, maybe top 64 consistently, but never breaking anything into top 16, you're probably not going to win worlds, but
Yeah.
I do think that you can make it to worlds, right? I think you could qualify there. The real question is, do you just want that on your resume that you went to worlds, right? And
Mhm.
you want a shot at it. I mean, I'm not one to kill someone's dream that because maybe you never placed that well, but you still could win worlds. Yeah, it's a possibility. It's just unlikely, right?
Yeah,
I think it's just very unlikely, but it is anything is really possible in this game, but um, yeah, I would agree. I think it's pay to qualify, especially if you're in like NA and maybe EU. I think it's
yeah. Mhm.
definitely those are definitely some of the parameters. But I don't know. It's kind of hit or miss because I think yeah, the old system was pretty cutthroat, right? If you don't get top two and you've been like get third place every
Yeah.
single time, that's pretty unfortunate too. Uh, but I
Yeah.
think my hot
To be
take
honest, though,
is
I,
if
I feel
yeah.
like, yeah. So,
But no, all I was gonna say is like either last system or this system, like if you can't qualify for worlds, you're probably not going to win worlds.
yeah,
So, so that's
yeah. I feel like it's like, again, like they based it off the VGC and TCG like system, but
mhm,
not taking other parts of the system that kind of make it a bit more viable, like Swiss, because again,
mhm,
with Swiss, it feels less like a pay to qualify because, you have so many battles that you have to do in a day consistently to actually, like gain a respectable place. So that
mhm.
kind of does weed out a bit, or, the people who are just attending every event and the people who are attending every event but doing well. Um,
Wait, do you think so? I feel like even if it's Swiss format, let's say you have like each tournament's on average like 80 to 100 players. I feel like even in Swiss format, you're like a mid tier player. You could probably still consistently get like in that top
Yeah,
60,
I
top
guess that's
40,
true.
right?
That's true.
Because once so Swiss format, once if you lose early, you just face easier opponents later on, right? So
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
so you're
that's
not
true.
going to
That's
face
true.
like every top dog
Yeah,
consistently if you're losing.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I
Maybe
will
maybe
say,
there is no
yeah,
perfect.
yeah. Like I'm not like mad at anyone or like faulting anyone because I think like if you told me to figure out a perfect qualification system, I'd be like, dude, I quit my job. Like I can't do this. Like
Yeah.
it's a hard task, and like shout out to anyone trying to do this. Like I'm sure a lot of thought went into all this. So big shout out to those that are responsible. I don't know everyone that's responsible, so I'm not going to like name names. And I also don't want like to put a target on them in case some people are mad about it. But it's just yeah, I mean it's part of it, and I think because this is the we are slowly establishing ourselves in that championship circuit for TPCI. Like it makes sense for our qualifications to start coming in line with VGC and TCG as we expand the game and
Mhm.
stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
um yeah, so I mean I think it is what it is. No, my one question, I don't know if you know the answer to this, is so when we talk about locals, right? Especially NA has them
Right.
for right now in the other regions. There's two different local formats.
Mhm.
There is the let me take a look. There's the Pokemon Go Cups, and then there's Pokemon
Mhm.
Go Challenge. Pokemon Go Challenge, like if you finish first place, you get 15 points. Whereas if you finish first place in the Pokemon Go Cup, you get 50 points. I
Yeah.
wasn't able to figure out the difference between the two. Were you?
Okay, so for this, I wasn't able to figure it out either, but from what Twistel has said, so last season when there was locals happening in NA, he was like quite active around them, so he seems to know more than most
Mm-hmm.
people about it. And I think what he was saying is that like a store has to hold a certain amount of Go challenges to then be eligible to hold Go Cups. So you
Okay.
have to be a consistent store. But I think this is another issue as well, where it's like, well, these NA stores have had a bit of a head start, and
Mm-hmm.
so they could theoretically there are probably some stores out. Again, this is provided that this is true, but there are probably some stores out there who could maybe start hosting Go Cups like
Right
at the
off the
beginning of
bat.
the season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, once the locals make their way to other regions, let's say, for example, um, January being like it seems like a decent sort of time frame where it's like, okay, New Year, we roll
Mm-hmm.
out to other regions, right? You have like half a year to um, for these stores to like start running their locals. You're only allowed to run one tournament per month. So
Mm-hmm.
how many Go challenges do you have to do until you're allowed to do Go Cups? You
Right.
know, are you gonna basically get to like near to the end of the season before you're allowed to host the Go Cup?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that part is a bit, I don't know. Uh, Again, it seems a bit skewed with the kind of system where it's like, well, if you can host the World Cup, and again, even in NA, right? If certain regions just haven't been organizing locals, then how long is it going to take them for them to be able to organize these Go Cups? Because, bruv, like you were saying before, yeah, what was it Arizona or something?
Dude, they're already
Yeah,
hosting stuff. Munchlax 2000
bro.
is six. So I just looked this up. For this is not for last year. This is for this upcoming season. Uh, you could already start getting points for it. Munchlax 2000
What,
from Arizona is sixth place on the leaderboard with 54 championship points already.
bruv, what?
Mitchell Alvarez de la Rosa. I don't know who that is, but I don't know the trainer name. But that person has 107 points right now, first in the U.S. So
Yo.
they're already 1/5 the way there with a single tournament not even started yet. Second place is Joseph Smith with 65 and Carly Putin at 62 on third place. So people are
Bruv,
already yeah, JJan's already got
how?
30 points as well. I don't know. I you could technically start hosting tournaments now. Like I know I think there was a tournament in like an hour and a half away from me or something. Like Monday, I obviously didn't drive to it because it's kind of
Yeah,
far to drive to just for a local
yeah,
tournament.
yeah.
And because the other thing is like I don't know if they like the problem is if you show up and there's not enough people there, I just drove
Right.
3 hours
Yeah,
for nothing, right? So,
yeah. Yeah,
but
true.
yeah, so I do know my locals will be hosting some tournaments. So hey, if you're in the LA area, come come get the smoke,
Mm.
I'm coming. But yeah, hosted by our local James Ablasian, and maybe RC Cole is helping organize too. So they were hosting our local Silph Cups in a card shop nearby. So it's
I
official
think that's a nice
Pokemon store.
transition,
Yeah.
though.
Hmm. Yeah.
Honestly, I like the thing is, I'm really excited about locals because I kind of want to see those come back because
Yeah.
it seems like this is just the format that everyone's following now.
Hmm.
So, and if you want to qualify, there you go
Gotta do
cups,
it. Gotta do it. Yeah. The
go
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 Cups are nice.
go
It's
to.
50 points for one top finish, and then you could get up to 6 best place finishes. So that means you could get 300 points off of Go Cups alone. I mean,
Bruh, if
look,
you're like a
there's
Mexican
time in
trainer,
the
you
year.
just go, yeah, go across the border. I don't know how easy that is, and I'm assuming maybe
I
it
mean,
does
if you have a passport and stuff,
that.
potentially, yeah.
Yeah, bro. This, bop to what was it? I don't know any geography in it, but like I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
it's like a,
you sound
I'm
like
pretty
you're real
sure it's like
familiar
a
for a second.
California. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's probably there's your entire qualification.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
you could get, so what you could get, let's see, you could get 50 per first place finish for a
Mhm.
Go Cup. So that's what, 300 points for up to six
Yeah.
max, right? Because they take your best place finish. So even if you got like second place, you play like a seventh one to get first place, you count the top six there. And you get 15 points for a top finish in the, what do you call it, the league ones, right? The
Yeah.
smaller locals. You get
There's
six of
also
those.
six. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 of those. So what is that? Some quick math,
That's
90,
90.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so you get up to what? 390
390.
points. So it's pretty good. But here's what I was saying, because a lot of people are like, yeah, you can maximize on your locals, you'll be pretty much there. I'm like, honestly, if you're getting 390 points from your locals, like you probably were going to qualify for worlds anyway, right? Like you're probably good enough because if especially if your place is big enough to host like 50-point cups, you're probably a
That's
pretty
true.
good battler already to finish first place consistently at those, right? Like
Yeah.
I think like people say it's easy, but I guarantee some of like let's say LA start hosting a bunch of locals, right? And a lot of people start going to them. I'm sure there's some of my locals that won't be able to get that 390 even if they go to like 20 locals a year, right? Because they just can't they can't get first place because there's some heavy hitters in the area that they're constantly losing to. So um
Yeah. That'll be a regional on its own. That'll be
dude. Yeah.
quite
I'm
something,
honestly excited for it too because I could like test run some teams, right? Like you could test run different
Mm.
teams before you go to the actual regional, right? If it
Mm.
worked at the local, hey, I'm gonna bring it to the regional, right? Right after. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm personally excited for. But yeah, so that's the big news. Oh, we didn't mention this though. The prize
Yeah.
pool. The prize
Oh,
pool is definitely something because they increased the prizes this year compared to last year. And let's see if I have the specific uh
I gotta say,
thing.
yeah, it's about time, yeah. Flipping big Pikachu, big I don't know what is it like. Okay, it's obviously not the biggest company in the world, right? But Pokemon's a
It
pretty big
is
company.
I think it's one the
It's the biggest company in the
biggest.
world.
I think it's no, not the biggest company, but I think it's probably the biggest or one of the biggest gaming companies in the world.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
definitely up there, and to be giving
yeah,
out little, 200, $500 for, some placements
yeah. So
it's a
so
bit cheap.
world championships as a comparison this year was $10,000 for first place. For next
Mhm.
year, world championships is $20,000 for first place. So double that. For the prize pool for the internationals. I think this was double too. I don't know. I didn't look actually know international pricing
Mhm.
there, but it's $5,000 for first place finish, which
Nah,
is quite a bit of money. Plus, you get like
yeah,
travel award, like all of qualification, all that stuff. $3,000 for second place, $2,000 for third place. Like that's pretty good. That's pretty good money. I mean,
yeah.
you get top 25 at international, you get $400. that's in itself a lot for a lot of people could pay for your
That's pretty
flights,
decent,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Dude, the regionals, man, I wish they were giving this out last year when I did so well, you know? So the regionals, right? Um, you get first place finish, you get 2,500 for first place, 2,000 for second place. For context, last year I got 1,000 for San Diego because it was over 100 competitors, so it reached a $100 the 100% threshold. I got 1,000, and then because Fresno was under 1,000 people, I only got $500 last year for
Right. So
Fresno.
that's another change as well, where
Mhm.
they're not doing requirements.
I don't think so. I
I
don't think
think I
so.
think I saw a lot of players mention that, where it's like there's no kicker um the prize money. So
Yeah, yeah. I
whether it's
think
like, and then, maybe smaller tournaments is a bit biased, but like you're still getting
there
2,000.
yeah. So there's no kicker for Go. There is a kicker
Right.
for like VGC, TCG
Okay.
for the Masters division. Yeah. For those. So, oh no, actually no, they have it for juniors as well, juniors and seniors. Yeah. So there is a kicker for those. Actually, no, there isn't. No, no, no. I'm mistaken. There is no kicker for those either. It's just that uh they have different prizes for juniors and seniors. There's less for
Right.
juniors and
Right.
seniors. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah. So they don't have a kicker for any of those, which is
Mad. Yeah.
man, dude.
Bruv,
Instead of
free money.
1,500,
I mean,
1,500, I could got an extra like 2,500 right there. I
bro,
missed out,
and
man. I
you didn't
gotta.
even travel for it, right? You just
Well,
drive around the corner.
I did have to drive for San Diego. I drove for both San Diego and Fresno. Yeah, I
How
flew for
much did it
Hartford,
cost
which
you?
is my
50
least,
bucks.
yeah, my worst performance. But yeah, Airbnb food. I did eat some food and stuff like that, so it did come some cost. But guess I gotta step it up this year. I mean, Sacramento. I mean, I think Elite's going to that one, and Accent's going to be there. Like, dude, I'd be happy with
That's
second place. I'd be happy with a third place finish there. Like, I don't think I could.
yeah,
Who knows who else is going to show up, right? Um,
that's true. That's true.
but
Yeah, the
honestly,
money on
not
the
even the
line.
prize money. I just want to win first, so I don't have to worry about the championship points. Like I want that auto qualification. I
Well, there's
want,
another thing as well. They haven't mentioned travel award.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So travel
and
awards gonna be
how that
interesting
works.
because how they did it for VGC and TCG is they base it off of how many championship points you have, like the top people with championship points per region.
Right.
So whoever has more championship points in NA, like they'll allocate like maybe the top 16 NA players will get travel awards, minus like maybe the international champion, right? And then and the same goes for like EU might be like top 12 or top 16 maybe, and top however many for Oceania, Latam, stuff like that. So they didn't really break that down for Go yet, so we're gonna have to see how that
Mhm.
goes. Here's the thing. Pretty much like Go last year, half of the competitors got travel awards, right? You either
Yeah.
got your first place finisher, 1 out of 2 at regionals, or your top 2 out of internationals got travel award.
Mhm.
Those amount of travel awards is, especially proportionally speaking, compared to VGC and TCG, far surpasses them. And so
Okay.
we were like, for Go players, like we were definitely raking in the travel awards, right? Compared to the other games. I think that era is coming to end,
Uh,
unfortunately. But I mean, for all fairness sake, compared to the BGC and TCG, like it probably for the fairness for compared to the other games, like we probably shouldn't get that many travel awards. I mean,
yeah.
it sucks, but for us, but I get it, right? If they were to cut down on travel awards,
Yeah. True. True. True.
so yeah, but
But
yeah,
I
we
mean, they
were.
get these travel stipends as well, innit? So
Yeah, they get the travel. Yes, they do. They get travel stipends to go to internationals, and right now we don't. You bring up a great point. You know what? Good point there. Good point
we
there,
need the
Anicor.
balance. We need the balance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. So
I
we'll
don't know. That should be interesting.
yeah,
At least it's technically in the US, right? So
yeah. So it's a
makes it a
little
bit
bit
easier to
cheaper,
travel to.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. Going to Hawaii from like New York is a long flight. Still, like
Yeah.
it's not an international flight, but it'll feel like one. Like it's not that
Yeah.
short of a flight for. You know what? Out of curiosity, let me just pull this up and let's see like from LA to Hawaii how far that is and how expensive it is. Let's take guesses. How far do you think? Let's say if I was to book a round trip flight right now,
Uh-huh.
uh, and let me just I'll book it a year in advance, right? So we really. Oh, I actually no, I can't go that far. I can't go that far. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. I think it,
let's
yeah.
just say let's just say July, right? That's as far as I can get. Let's say July 1st to the 15th, right? How how expensive do you think that trip is from LA to Honolulu, Hawaii?
Okay, so I'm gonna say probably 3K.
Really? That's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
but
don't
I
think the
don't know.
travel
It's
award doesn't
like
even give that much. Three
I
K
don't know. I just
dollars?
assumed that it would be loads. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Maybe it's not.
no,
Maybe it's not. Obviously, it seems like it should be quite close, but it
I
felt
would
like a trick
guess
question.
I would guess under 1,000. I would guess maybe 800. I would guess 800 or 700, especially if I'm booking this far in advance. But that's still pretty expensive for a domestic flight, in my opinion. All right, let me see how much it is. I mean, we're booking it really far in advance, right?
Yeah,
So this is not very accurate of what it's gonna be. Actually, it's still kind of pricey. It's
what is it?
like
3K,
no, it's not that much. It's like
2K.
780 slash 1,000. So it was pretty. I was pretty on point. Yeah, most are around like 900 something
That's not
for
too bad.
just it's not,
Ah,
but
you're going
again,
to Hawaii.
travel awards are you get less for travel award if you're domestic, right? So
Hmm. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
yeah,
I was looking at
so
like some flights from London, and it's like uh flying. So trying to book it that far ahead, you don't really
yeah,
get that many options. So it seems
hmm
like you'd have to not book it closer to the time, but like maybe at least like 4 or 5 months closer.
yeah,
But like if I was looking at some options where it was like, okay, well, what if I was flying out in January?
yeah.
And they can be as low as like £400 one way,
Let me
which
tell you.
is
So yeah, no, crazy part is so I just threw in JFK, right? Like New York airport to Honolulu. Obviously, it's more expensive, right? A little over 1,000, like almost maybe 1,500 or so, depending on where you're flying. The flight. The Some of these seats are already sold out. This is for July
what?
2024. Some of the seats are sold out.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, these TCG players are not playing, bro.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
are,
I guess so. Yeah, no,
they
for
are
real.
really on there.
Yeah, so people are already buying these flights, which is something. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's actually a really good point. Is if you're planning on attending Worlds, like regardless if you qualify or not, or you think you have a high chance of qualifying, especially because you're closing out championship points, book the flight as soon as you can once we find out the world states. Because the thing is, uh when you get the travel award, for those that haven't gotten one, they just give you straight cash. They're not like they're not buying you a ticket for you. You still have to buy your own ticket regardless. So if you have the money to buy it, you might as well buy it now so it's cheaper.
Also,
Um
bear in mind that the travel awards aren't even going to be awarded until like right before
yeah, if you wait that long, like your flight's gonna be super
So
expensive. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like I booked my flight because I wasn't sure if I was going to commentate or not. I just booked it ahead of time anyway, just in
yeah.
case, right? Because obviously the Pokemon company could reimburse me if they're paying for my flights as a caster. But if I
Right.
wasn't picked to cast or I didn't want to cast for whatever reason, I'm just going to book it ahead of time, right? So something to note. But yeah, I mean that's the news on Play Pokemon stuff. We have our first tournament
Uh,
uh next week.
next yeah,
Next weekend.
next
Yeah.
weekend, yes,
Not this
sir.
upcoming weekend, the weekend after. So that's gonna be pretty
And I
big, pretty
believe
big.
the week after that will be the first EU tournament, so
Barcelona.
Barcelona. And
Yeah.
then I think the week after that will be the first LATAM tournament, so Curitiba in Brazil.
Yeah, and I don't think there's
Um,
any overlapping tournaments, right? To my knowledge.
which is nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it means,
Huge.
you can
I love it.
we can really like focus in. Nice
Yeah.
also on the Dracovids point of view as well, yeah, because
Yeah. For you
four
all, it
tournaments in
was
a weekend was
dude.
intense.
Yeah, you all were working. But I mean also
Yeah.
yeah, I mean for those that aren't even working that want to tune in, like my problem was
Hmm.
always like, oh, there's a EU, especially when I wasn't commentating. Well, when I was commentating, I really couldn't tune into them because I was working. But
Yeah.
when I wasn't commentating, I'd be back at home just watching, and it's like I'm like watching the EU tournament till like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and then the NA one's about to start day two in like 2 hours. I'm just like, I guess I will just stay
May as
up.
well.
And I never do. I end up passing out before we get to the grand finals, right? So I always wake up to spoilers on Twitter, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
So that'll be quite nice. And also that'll be quite
yeah,
nice for meta development as well. So it's
hmm
like, you can really look back at the last event and have the meta sort of like slowly shift over time. So I think that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Mm.
got NA players kicking it off, so let's see
Yeah,
how
yeah.
creative we get. I know we're like one of the least creative regions in the world, but
Yeah, man.
we'll see we'll see what people can do
Yeah.
with that stuff. But again, we don't know what the updates are at the time of this recording, so I was
This is
hoping to
true.
come
This
today,
is true.
but you know,
Bruv, I've been praying, But that said, we do have like a minor sort of thing. So
yeah.
again, is not official, and these can change, but
Hmm.
Pokeminers have mined three new moves.
Hmm.
And I think these are interesting because, again, even if we don't even get them this season, because there have been moves that have been mined in the past and they just still haven't even entered the game, right? I think they're nice in terms of they look like they're giving some nice variety. So, Scorching Sands, Trailblaze, and Triple Axle.
Mm.
Those are the three moves. So, Scorching Sands is a ground move that's 50 energy and 80 damage. So it's a clone of Skull.
Okay.
Um,
Does
so
it
that's
debuff too?
interesting because, yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's
Okay.
got a 30% chance to debuff. So that's interesting because, again, like in terms of ground moves, we were pretty much just, I guess, a drill run, but drill run isn't like, oh, well, until last season, wasn't like widely distributed, right? So it
Yeah.
was pretty much just Earthquake and Mudball.
Well, I guess you have like bulldoze on like Vigoroth and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, but like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, dig is
Like
awful.
the
Dig is
real
so
moves.
bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm waiting for a
So
dig buff. I got a Shadow Nidorino
yeah,
made,
bro.
and that thing was so bad with dig.
You might be waiting a while, bro. So, um, but yeah, this sounds interesting. It's a nice, mid energy move. A lot of these ground mons also have mud shot as well. So,
Okay.
uh, you know,
You know what can learn it like in the main series game?
right. So let me send you that because it's an interesting list.
Hmm.
The Trailblaze list is, bro, that one's too much.
Yeah, Trailblaze is a
That
fire
one's got
move.
like, no, no, the Trailblaze one is a grass move. So Trailblaze is a grass move.
Uh huh.
It's a clone of Flame Charge. So 50 energy,
Uh,
65 damage, and buffs the attack one
we
stage.
do need a grass buff
Uh,
because there's not a lot of good
yeah,
grass.
there's a lot of potential with grass, but like for example, Leafage last season, it was
Didn't
it
really do
was so
anything.
close to being something useful. Yeah, I think it was the I mean, I can't even remember the stats because it's just really irrelevant. But
Wasn't it like a bullet punch
um,
clone?
I think it was that, or like maybe slightly worse. But it felt
Yeah.
like one of the either the energy or the damage could have been increased by one to like
Hmm.
actually give it some viable play.
Yeah.
Um, and
Charizard
triple
could learn
axle,
Scorching Sand. That's
yeah,
wild.
bro, yeah, bro.
Hey,
If you
we
look at some of
got
these, like,
Community Classic coming up. Steelix,
yeah,
Steelix could definitely use something less expensive than Earthquake.
yeah, we got Claydol, the move
Diggersby,
collector.
Diggersby,
Yeah.
yo, Diggersby debuffing you
Diggersby
is
sounds
kind of annoying.
interesting. Yeah,
Diggersby, yeah, but I mean,
Excadrill. I mean, looking at this list though, like, and taking out things that already have viable ground moves. What have you really got there? You've got
yo, you got
Rapidash. Oh,
yo
that's got
Zygarde
Trailblaze,
getting another buff,
bro.
but only the
Too
fifty
early.
percent form. I think for some reason, maybe not the hundred
Yeah.
percent form. That's kind of weird. Yeah. I
Palisand?
mean,
Turtonator. You know what? Turtonator, I'm not going to lie. Turtonator seemed like it had potential, but they just
it's
gave
got
it no
interesting
cheat.
typing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
got
it's got
interesting
decent
typing.
bulk as well. Um,
Does it? Okay, that's pretty good.
so,
Um, yeah, I mean, a lot of these things like Golurk
they're
I
all
feel
looked
like never
at,
relevant. Claydol
yeah.
getting another move again. It's like they can only
Yeah.
they can make Claydol the new Mew and it's still gonna be bad, right? I don't. It's just weak to so much stuff. Okay, so Marowak can learn a can of Alolan. Oh, Alolan Marowak can learn it.
Yeah.
That's pretty
That's
big if Alolan
interesting.
Marowak.
That is
Yeah,
interesting.
you need something
Yeah.
to be better than Bone Club for sure, right? So,
Exactly.
Sand Slash could be interesting because Earthquake just takes forever to get to. Niddle Queen is it?
Yeah.
Wait, so is it better than Earth Power?
I think, assuming it's like, I think it's probably less DP than Earth.
Hmm. Okay.
But obviously you have the debuff chance, so it's like a bit
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
pick your poison sort of thing, Let's see. So
Yeah.
Scald. So Scald is 1.6 DP. I think Earth Power is way bigger. Oh,
Hmm.
1.64. So actually not even that much bigger.
Yeah.
So
But it's less energy than
actually
Earth Power, right?
it's less energy, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
that's honestly what you need because the more
yeah,
DPE is not like C bomb got more DPE, but just more energy, and it's completely
yeah, that's
irrelevant
true,
now,
that's
right?
true.
Having less energy might be nice. Yeah, I think if you put it on Steelix, I don't know if you need it on Charizard, but I think Steelix, Nidoqueen, um, and what was the other one I said?
Marowak.
Marowak. I think those are probably
Mm,
the best contenders for it, maybe.
yeah.
But
Crocodile could be kind of cool. But I think these are like that's bordering on niche.
yeah, yeah, you
Yeah.
run that at tournament. You let me know how that goes.
Yeah, I was thinking more like monsters and
Ninetales actually
stuff.
cancel Ninetales getting could be interesting, but
Mm,
again, I just don't know what coverage. Like a lot of the fire coverage overlaps with the ground coverage, especially against steel types,
yeah,
right? So
that's true.
um, okay, and this other one was Trailblaze.
Okay, so Trailblaze, yeah, bro, this move. There's too many things that can learn it. One of
Mhm.
which being Medicham as well. So,
What? Okay.
I don't know what they choose to give that to because yeah, again, there's just like a lot there.
Yo, Metchamp going to be an
Considering,
Azu counter at that point.
bro, yeah, do you know what I mean? As if it really isn't,
yeah.
So yeah, a grass move that buffs you. I mean, I think there's some interesting contenders here,
Yo,
but again,
Galarian
it's like, what
Zapdos.
would you
That's a wild
give
one.
up?
Yeah.
Hypno, that's
Quagsire is interesting. Yo, imagine if Quagsire learns it, you just destroy
bruv.
Swampert at that point. That'd be weird.
That is mad.
That'd be wild. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, Quagsire's already pretty good into Lantern, so you don't really need it for the
Vigoroth
Lantern
can
coverage.
learn it.
That's interesting.
That
I
is very interesting
mean, yeah, because
because
buffed counters and buffed body slams or something. I
yeah,
don't know if you run it over. I mean, Bulldoze is just good coverage
well, yeah,
for it,
I mean, you
but
got to run it over Bulldoze,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I think so.
I feel like Bulldoze is one of those moves where it's probably even if it's super effective, it's probably just worse.
Dude,
So
Ampharos learns it. Yo, wait till Butters finds out about this. You're gonna be back on that Ampharos hype train. Dude, I said this to Butters last time. I'm like, don't you feel like financially responsible for some of these trainers flying out to these tournaments, registering Ampharos just to lose with it? Like, I'm trying to look out for these trainers. I'm trying to be like, Ampharos is bad. Don't do it, right? And these people take it as a challenge because Butters like, no, it's good. Trust me, right? And even he's off the Ampharos train these days. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
I
swear, if
haven't heard
Ampharos
the
learns this Trailblaze too, dude, he's gonna be the first one on Twitter. I'm gonna
Bro,
tweet
that's
before
another
he
season.
does. I'm gonna tweet before him and just be like, "Yo, Butters, before you, I'm gonna let you finish, but this ain't it, right?" Like, I'm gonna pull a Kanye on him a little bit.
And for a
um,
season.
yeah, Dom fan gets it. I don't. This one's weird. Altaria gets it. What?
Yeah.
Altaria doing
There's
grass
like
moves?
so many things that get it here where it's like really difficult to assess
Pachirisu getting
what
is
they're
kind
meant
of cool
to.
because Pachirisu needs some
Yeah,
coverage. And now
it
that we
does,
had it from
yeah.
GoFest, like it's a little bit more accessible. I don't think it'll be that much better with the grass move, but it could be. It's nice coverage. Greninja gets
Florges is
it.
kind of interesting as well,
Florges
I
is
think.
interesting too. Florges is a weird
Yeah,
Pokemon. I was like, that's got to be grass fairy, and it's just pure fairy, but it looks like a
yeah.
grass type that learns fine with. Like, yeah, a Ranguru learns it. Serena, wait, Serena learns this, and it learns triple axle, right? Triple axle is a
It
signature
does,
move.
yeah,
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 okay, because I know
yeah.
you're getting to that next, but um, Zarude is an interesting one too. Ursa Luna, that could be an interesting one for like Master League. But yeah, there's a ton of things that learns this. What the heck? Um,
That
I
one's
thought that was
definitely
Virizion, but it's the Paradox form, Iron Leaves, that gets it. Not regular Virizion, I don't think gets it, or maybe it does. I don't see on the list. Haxorus gets it. I don't know, there's a bunch of things that could get this. This is gonna be
mm,
interesting. A bomb still getting it could be interesting too.
that could be
Because
quite interesting,
NG
yeah.
ball is kind of annoying. Yeah.
Bit of an alternative.
Skuntank? What the heck doesn't learn this thing?
Right? This is the thing, like
Umbreon
before
learns it? What? Yo, if Umbreon learned it, Dude,
That's
that'll
too
be
much.
mad against Azumarill. Imagine that, like Umbreon hitting you back with grass moves. What? That'll be
And then a
weird.
boosted one after that.
Yeah, a boosted one, dude. That's going to be such a weird interaction. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hypno learns it.
so
Wow,
weird.
this is a weird move. Yeah, Alone Raichu even. I think Alone Raichu getting it could be cool. I don't think that's gonna be super
Yeah,
powerful
yeah,
though.
that could be
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if it uh
yeah.
really put into
Okay.
relevance in it, but
Yeah. This triple axle list is way shorter. Dude, freaking Alolan
yeah,
Sand Slash? Dude, this thing doesn't need no
bruv,
more buffs.
he does not. Because okay, so triple axel,
Yeah.
icy wind clone, but instead of debuffing your opponent, it buffs you.
Okay.
So
So it does some decent damage too.
yeah, decent
Oh,
damage,
dude,
and
wait. Alolan Ninetales as well. Wait, what type of move is it?
it's ice.
Oh, it's an ice move. Oh,
Yeah,
stab Alolan
yeah,
Ninetales with a buffing move
yeah.
with charm? That's annoying.
But would you just? Oh, okay, charm. Yeah, yeah, that makes
I
sense.
mean, it would work on
I
both
was gonna
charm
say,
and
would
the
you
powder
would you use it
sludge,
over
right? Weather ball.
um over weather ball, or would you just go
Wait,
for like a full ice move set?
what's the energy on triple axle?
45.
So it's a little bit more than weather ball, right? Weather ball's what,
Yeah,
40?
weather ball's 35.
35.
So
Oh
you
yeah,
get
that's a lot
more
more.
more damage out of weather ball, or I guess like damage, like raw damage, you get less out of weather ball,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
more DP out of weather ball. But
But I
obviously
mean,
you've
I
got
guess the
the
second one does
self
less
buffing.
anyway, right?
Yeah.
I think you probably run
Um,
weather ball if you were to get it, but I don't even know if it gets it. Yeah.
yeah. Pre-Marina, that's an
Yeah.
interesting option. Serena
Melodic.
again, like you said. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think you know what Milotic sounds interesting because again,
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't really. You still need you still kind of need coverage, right? Because it doesn't
Mhm.
give you coverage over water types, which is like the issue with Blizzard or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's like an interesting side grade.
What about Frostlass? Man, Avalanche is such a good move. Dude, run
This
it
is the
over
thing.
Avalanche?
I
It's
don't
just like they
know.
have good moves. Galade is an interesting one too. I mean,
Yeah,
boosted charm or confusion damage. I don't know if you're running charm Galade, something's up. Like it's a limited cup. Like there's no reason to run it. If you're running a charmer, there's no reason to run on Galade. But
yeah,
yeah, Glaceon's an interesting one. So you have literally Icy Wind, and then now you have the attack boost version of Icy Wind. So that's a that's an interesting conundrum right
yeah.
there. Yeah, and then Mew's another good one. Yeah, this list is a little bit shorter, so we'll see. I don't
But yeah, I think
I
all
don't
three of these moves are kind of nice in terms of um, whenever they come out and whoever they give them to, it's kind of, I don't know, they seem like a nice dynamic um,
yeah,
to add to the game.
yeah. Dude, let me say, all right. Well, I was meshing with Palmer's up, your colleague from Dracoviz, and he was writing our team chat. He's like, "Hey, does anyone want to join in on this unified tournament? Right, like 3 versus 3 tournaments. He's looking for like another player to join." And I'm like, I'm okay, but I played it once before. It was a good time, but I'm okay for now. And I was just like, but real question is, how many charge? He's like, yeah. I said it's a good way to practice against some really good battlers, right? Like, because there's a lot of tryhards and really top tier trainers that play in that. And he's like, yeah, yeah, exactly. Like that's my thought too. Like I'm not really motivated to like get good practice in, and I don't think good practice. You can even get good practice from GBL. I was like, well, you say this, right? So you're not GBLing. Now you're gonna play a grassroots tournament that's going to cost like elite, like charge TMs on random Pokemon that you don't usually use. My question is how many charge teams you got, right? And let's just say I'm not going to reveal the full number, but it's less than 10,
It's
right?
probably
And
zero, bro.
it's less than 10 is what I'll say, right? Because I know this man was not raiding or anything like that. So he has less than 10 charge TMs. He's about to play a grassroots tournament that's going to cost him at least like maybe 5 more just to get one moveset on some random Flygon, maybe, right? That he'll never use outside of that tournament on the eve of a moveset update for the season, and he's competing at Pittsburgh for the regional. Like
It's competing at Pittsburgh as well.
he's competing at Pittsburgh. Apparently, that's the
He's in
plan.
Star
So
Wars, bro.
yeah, he's gonna be
Star
running
Wars.
freaking like he's gonna be running Thunder Hydro Pump Lantern is my guess. At that point, 'cause that's all he could TM. He run the double moveset of Surf and Hydro Pump. Those are the new tech.
Hey, bro,
Yeah,
that get you them wins, you know.
dude, something,
Hey,
something.
this stuff won't KO.
Yeah, yeah. If the Surf doesn't KO, his nemesis is going there too. His rival Ryan Swag.
Oh, man,
He's going to
swag.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, I don't know if you know this story, but the only tournament he's competed in was at Knoxville.
Mm,
He won his first round through a round one bye, and then he faced off against Ramblin' Man, who he lost to on stream. Uh, I give him crap for this all the time, but he let him Metacham and Ramblin' Man safe swap a Sable. I think he took 5 Shadow Claws before he swapped out. I was like, what are you doing? What are you thinking about right now? But anyway, so he loses to Rambling Man on stream, and then off stream right after in the losers bracket, he loses to Ryan Swag. And funny enough, Ryan Swag's name is Ryan. Rambling Man's name is also Ryan. So both people that he got knocked out of is named Ryan. So
Ryan's not giving him a good time,
so
you know.
yeah, there's a couple other Ryans in the community. I think Kimmy Swee's name is Ryan. I think that's what Ryan Swag said. I think his first name is Ryan. I'm not sure though on that one. Psionic is a Ryan. Psionic's real name is Ryan.
Oh,
Yeah, so he's got some people to dodge,
yeah, man.
um but yeah, this man's
I'm
running no
expecting
TM.
that first round of Pittsburgh's Polly versus A Ryan.
Dude. I was like, what are you doing, man? You gotta be prepping for this tournament, right? You gotta redeem yourself from the last one. And meanwhile, he's
Yeah,
playing in
true.
these grassroots tournaments, running no TMs, no Stardust, no nothing. He's gonna be running the same
Uh,
team from last season at this point. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, so we're speculating obviously on what season 12 is gonna bring us. I forgot
mhm.
what the name of it. It was like a double A name, like something Ascent or
Yeah,
something. Aspiring Ascent.
astounding adventures or
I don't know. I
something
don't
along
know.
those
I mean,
lines.
the names don't really matter too much to
Astounding.
me. I'm just glad that it looks like Niantic is putting more effort or more allocating more resource for PvP. So let's hope for a good season. Let's hope for some good updates. Obviously, so here's the thing: because it's data mined, there's gonna be something, right? Ain't gonna be no boom burst update, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
that in itself is
that's a
a
positive.
great feat. Yeah, that's a huge feat in itself.
Yeah,
Um, but like I said, your first full podcast episode as the official co-host, we gotta set a legend bet. We gotta
yeah.
set a legend
Bro,
bet. So here's what I'm thinking, right?
uh,
Because I think the chances of Speedy Chief eating the hot chip is pretty low. It was already pretty low when he was a co-host. It's pretty much
okay,
non-existent, I think, when he's no longer on the podcast. So I think it's safe to say he is not eating that hot chip. He's probably just going to toss that in the garbage can or something, right? Back at home.
true, true, yeah.
So I think to make up to our loyal listeners who've been waiting for a hot chip, right, this whole time, I think we owe them a hot chip. And so I think the first bet
So
between me
right
and
at the
you,
beginning is the
right
hot
at the
chip.
beginning, we're having a hot. I mean,
Okay,
we're still a couple months away. Actually, maybe not that
that's
far
true.
away because it's not 3 months, right? Because assuming one of us will probably hit legend before
Yeah, yeah,
before
true,
the
true,
end.
true,
So
true.
once someone
Yeah.
hits it, you gotta start eating the hot chip, right? Don't worry, I don't know. I'll ship a hot chip to you, no problem, right? It's on the podcast dime, right? Well,
I don't think you'll need to. Let's just say it. Yeah. I was thinking about this since last week because obviously
uh
you
huh,
mentioned the legend bet last week, innit? Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm down, bro. I'm down. Yeah,
Okay,
because
okay.
again, like a bit similar to this Stardust bet. Yeah, I don't have too much of a reference of
Mm-hmm.
how well I'm gonna do. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I've got the belief. Yeah, and I've got
yeah.
the determination to make you eat that chip. So
Tell our listeners what you told me when we went off air yesterday or last week. So you were like, "I'm this is going to be the season. I'm ready, right when it
oh
starts,
yeah,
right?"
bro,
Yeah, yeah.
bro. Human catch a bug style, yeah. I'm gonna be concentrating on all my sets, yeah. I'm gonna be looking up like matchups afterwards. Bro, I'm gonna be studious.
Mm-hmm.
Studious. Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna be well
And
rested.
well rested, yeah, bro. I got out, flipping I was telling you that I had that
That bet.
bed that changes, yeah, changes I don't think they've shipped it yet, innit? So
Well,
That
I
might
mean,
be
I don't got
slightly
no
in your
special
favor.
bed
Yeah,
either, so like it's not like you're at
yeah.
disadvantage to me. I don't know what like I fell asleep on the couch the
Yeah,
other
no,
night. Like I'm like, come on. I got a cat sitting on me. Like I'm not getting good sleep, right? Like it's not.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
what's
Let's
this
just say.
bed? What's this bed? You gotta describe this bed for people at home.
Well, you know what? Actually, yeah, this could be
This could be our first
the first
sponsor.
sponsor. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Hit him up. Hit him up.
Eight sleep, eight sleep. If you're out there, yeah, you know I'm a loyal customer.
Dude, don't say if
Um,
you're out there. They're not listening to this yet. I doubt anyone
okay,
working them is
okay,
listening.
okay.
You need to let them know, right?
I'll message him after then. Yeah, so basically the mattress it like changes temperature in the night according to your own body temperature. It tracks
Okay.
your sleeping. It really aims to like keep you sleeping and rested for as long as possible, but in like good quality sleep. Not just like
Mm,
I know some of you guys might have been playing Pokemon Sleep recently. Yeah, I think if I remember the tiers, we're not going for dozing sleep. We're going
mhm.
for the one that's at the bottom. I can't remember what they call it.
Yeah. I haven't played Pokemon
The
Sleep yet, so I'm not sure. Yeah.
okay, yeah, whatever that is. Yeah, but yeah, unfortunately, I might not actually have it over this next month. But it's fine. It's fine. I don't need a bed
You don't need
to
a bed.
to win
Yeah.
this bet. I
Yeah.
don't need a bed.
You're telling me you're
Yeah,
gonna wake up early, nice and fresh.
bro,
You're gonna go to the
bro,
gym, right? You're gonna train the body, and then you're gonna train the mind right after, and then you're gonna
exactly.
GBL.
Yeah,
Dude, if you don't win this bet, I don't know. Hey, I don't think you need a handicap. I think it's just straight up whoever's first to legend, right? I think that should be the
bro. If
parameter.
I don't win this bet, yeah, you might not see me on the podcast for a few weeks.
Dude, I mean,
Let's
I'm gonna
just
start.
say.
Everyone else, send in your audition tapes for the fourth official co-host. I need to start this recruitment now while we can. All right, so we're gonna
Yeah,
do hot chip for loser.
let's do it,
Um,
bro. Let's
we could talk more about the parameters of the hot chip. I feel like you gotta like not drink or eat anything for a full minute.
Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, the thing is that like from and this is hypothetically, yeah, if I were to eat it, yeah, in
Yeah.
the unlikely scenario,
Okay. Of
um,
course.
I feel like yeah, it's like you're gonna do something uncomfortable, so extra uncomfortable parameters, they don't really make too much difference. You know what I mean? Like if your mouth's burning, you're not
I don't know. I
like
think it makes a difference. I mean, hey, we
I
could
mean,
up
yeah,
it to 5 minutes with no water and food if that's the case.
I don't know, innit? Yeah, I've obviously not eaten it before, innit? Yeah, but I'm like, you know
I
what?
haven't
Like,
either.
if your mouth's burning, yeah, your mouth's probably burning. If you're drinking water,
Dude,
it's probably a
Matt,
bad time altogether. So
Matthew Breaker was wearing gloves when he was eating it on the
swear down.
podcast. Yeah, he wore like black gloves to pick it up. He's like,
Oh
"Don't
no.
touch it with your hand. It's that spicy." Yeah, Speedy said he licked it once. He said it was very hot. So I don't know.
You don't want to be that guy who accidentally touches their eyes as well.
Exactly, exactly.
That
Yeah,
is
yeah. You can be the only guy wearing an
straight
eye
hospital.
patch at one of these tournaments in the future. Yo, imagine if I had an eye patch while commentating.
Wait. Can I
uh,
just say? Can I just say?
yeah.
Can we revisit that idea? Yeah, for a bet in the future.
Wearing
Yeah.
an eye patch on
If
broadcast,
you lose, you have to wear an eye patch on
I don't
broadcast.
know about that one. That might be a stretch. What I could do is I could wear
Uh,
glasses, not like sunglasses, like straight up
okay,
glasses.
okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be a
But like
very different look.
glasses with no
No less.
lenses. Yeah, yeah. So it's like
But I can wear my real glasses though. I don't actually. I don't wear contacts or anything. I'm supposed to wear glasses. I never do. So it'd be a very different
okay,
look. You want me to just wear glasses with no frames on it? I don't know. I
yeah,
don't want to
because
get.
then it implies that you're making a fashion choice, and it doesn't imply
Yeah.
practicality. So you
Okay.
look
How
like
about
an
this?
idiot.
What if I wear glasses with lenses, but the lenses are not prescription, just straight up
Yeah,
glass?
yeah, that's fine as well. That's
Okay.
fine as well. Yeah,
All right. I think
yeah,
I'd be down for that. I'd be down for that.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Future,
Actually,
future bet.
funny story. One of my friends I was hanging out with once, we were at her place, and then we were supposed to get breakfast, right? And we're like on our way out the door. I think we even got in the car, started driving away, right when we were like pulling out the parking lot, she like pulls back. She's like, "Oh shoot, I forgot my glasses." I was like, "Oh, no worries." So she drives back, parks real quick, runs up and gets it. Right? She didn't really drive very far, so I was like, "Yeah, it's not a big deal." She couldn't really see very well, right, in the car. full days goes by and stuff like that, and I don't know, think too much of it. And then she left her glass on the table, and I was like, oh, I wonder what I look like in this glass. Or I don't really wear glasses very often. I have like one pair, so I put them on. I'm like, wait, like this is what's your prescription like? I see like the same, nothing changed. She's like, oh, they're not prescription glasses. They're just for style. I was like, wait,
Wait, what?
you drove
What?
all the way back just for glasses that like just for style? Like I thought it was like actually you couldn't see, right? She drove back for just the style.
Bruv.
And it was just me and her
You
getting
know
like
what?
brunch. Like we weren't like going to some event or anything. Like we just went like for some food and like came back. Or I don't know what we did, but it wasn't like I don't think she saw anyone else like that day. Like I was so confused.
There's mad. You know what?
Yeah.
That's the kind of vibe I want you to be giving with these fake
All
ass
right.
glasses. Do you know what I mean? You know,
I'll go to my
like
suit
people
guy. Be
people
like,
on
I need
set be like,
a yeah. I need an outfit
"Oh,
with glasses. Yeah, yeah, yeah. With good glasses.
send your outfit suggestions in the comments. Yeah, no, let's start prepping this one. Like I said, you prepped the scoreboard, yeah, before we even started this episode, didn't it? Yeah,
I
so I'm pretty sure
mean,
we can start prepping the third bet.
look, you're getting a little ahead of yourself. I gotta lose the
I'm getting a
bet
bit too ahead of myself.
for me to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it. Yeah, we got a Stardust bet. I feel like the Stardust bet and the battling bet are definitely different though. You could lose the
yeah,
Stardust bet very hard and still win the Legend bet, but
yeah.
I'm gonna
Same
be
here,
on my grind too. I need to win the
bro.
Stardust bet, so you use Trevenant for a full day and tank your ranking, right?
And
Like
then yeah,
regardless.
true, true, true.
Yeah.
That really
That's the
sets it up.
motivation,
That really
right?
sets it
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
It's like the head start, It's a head start you need.
Mm.
It's like you're entering the grand finals and I'm on the winner side, you're on the loser side.
Wait, what do we do if the move update happens like tomorrow and it looks like Trevenant's meta again?
Uh that's a good
Do we
question. I
change?
think yeah, if it is, we'll revisit it next week. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
okay,
gotta be a
okay.
Pokemon that's not good. Yeah. So if Trevenant is better, then because next week will be before the on Ultra Unlock starts anyway, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, so yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's do that. All right. Well, we got it locked and loaded.
Yeah, bro.
I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I know we've been talking about merch on Battlecast for a while, but it is on the way now. We've officially started that process, so we're gonna get that sorted out. And of course, gonna get us that mattress sponsorship.
I'm getting
Imagine,
that mattress sponsorship.
imagine we get mattress sponsorship. There's like 6 mattresses behind me in the background. Like, yo, please someone buy one of these mattresses. I got no room left. Like, that'd be too
Uh,
funny.
hey, you
Too
definitely win the
funny.
legend bet after that, though. Yeah, let's just say,
Dude.
you know. Hey, see,
We'll see
eight
how that
sleep,
goes.
really,
Yeah.
really backing your product there.
Hey, hit him up. Hit him up.
Yeah,
If
you want to
any,
become
if
legend?
if you want to pick up letters, yeah. If any listeners want to sponsor the podcast, definitely reach out to myself or Anicor on Twitter, and we'll definitely get it sorted out too. We can promote your brand or whatever you're looking for as well, and we'd be using the funds to keep the show running, get some additional equipment, stuff like that, and all those things. So, yeah. What were you
Even
gonna
if
say?
you don't have a brand or business to
Yeah,
promote,
yeah. If you want
you
to help
just want
fund
to
it,
promote
yeah.
yourself, like
Yeah.
you just
Oh,
want to,
that's probably
yeah.
what the Patreon like a Patreon's for, honestly. I mean,
Yeah,
if
true, true, true.
yeah, if we were
Yeah,
to create a Patreon one day, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I just want to make sure that we're providing something useful for the
yeah.
Patreon.
Right.
So,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe some extra episodes, maybe a spot on the friends
yeah.
list, something like that. Maybe yeah, maybe we
Oh, I'm
have
not gonna lie. I used to find those spot on the friends list things really really
yeah,
cringe. I'm not gonna
yeah,
mention names in it, yeah, but there's certain people who have that on their like metaphors and stuff. And I'm like, bro,
yeah, yeah. You're about to be that cringe
you're
person
really
yourself.
valuing that.
You're in the same boat now.
Bro,
No, but maybe something we could do potentially, and we could talk more about this off air. Is we create like a Discord for Battle Cats, and
yeah.
actually myself and Zion used to have one, but that's when we were hosting together, and it was a combination for our specific Patreon. Um, but if we were to do one, maybe we could do like we could have it be like a Battle Cats podcast like scrim server almost, like you subscribe, you can scrim for like GBL or play Pokemon stuff. Might be in there scrimming, stuff like that. Maybe some exclusive content. So I don't know. We'll think it through. If it's something that interests people, let us know. Obviously, if it's only like one person signed up, it's not going to be very helpful if you're just screaming me and Anicor. Maybe it is. I don't know. I mean,
I mean, you know,
Anicor's going to be ready, right? He's got the mind, body, and
rapid.
soul ready this upcoming season, right? So he's committed.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, any last words?
No, man. I mean, what's it? We're getting all the new Paldea stuff.
Yep.
It seems so. Those have been what we've been getting instead of move updates. So I think that should be kind of interesting. Looking at the stats briefly, I think so. Some of that, like Quavel, for example, it has like similar stats to Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be usable in Master League, which is interesting.
Mm.
Meowscarada, I'm not really sure. And
Dude, it's like
Skeledirge
grass
is
and
similar to
dark,
like
right? It's just
Tangrowth.
like, yeah, grass and dark is
Yeah,
such a bad
so Meow,
typing.
yeah, might not be that great. But
Yeah.
Skeledirge sounds interesting because it could be like an Ultra League Alola Marowak. So
Mm.
that's definitely interesting.
Yeah,
It's got a bit of bulk behind it, so those should be interesting. Yeah, honestly, I think just Brav, next week, yeah, move updates, like
dude,
bring
just in
them,
a few days.
bring
I'm
them.
ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
very
we're ready,
excited.
locked and loaded. I gotta say one thing as you're officially now a co-host, I need to start asking
Mm.
you what some of the stuff you say mean, because like you're speaking like British English, and I legit, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what you're saying sometimes, right? Like I gotta ask you
You
right
know,
before we do the sign off, because when
uh,
I say like we're heading out, peace out or something like that, you say
uh,
something, but I don't know what are you saying when we sign out? Like what is the word you're saying? Because I'm
I'd say
editing the
safe.
vlog, editing the podcast, and I'm like slowing it down, like listening back and forth. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. I just right when after you say it, I just cut it off. I'm just like, I don't know what you said, but I'm not going to cut you off. I'm going to let you say it, but I don't know what you're saying. Yeah. So what do you say when you're
um,
saying like goodbye or whatever?
safe.
Safe,
Yeah,
like SAFE.
yeah,
What does
yeah,
that
yeah.
mean? Like stay safe, essentially.
It just means like, just like, yeah, like. I don't know. Like it's just like goodbye. Like say
Oh, that's what do they say that
it
in London?
probably comes from like it probably comes from like I don't know keep safe or something like that. I'm
Okay.
assuming, but yeah, that's just
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha,
It's funny
gotcha.
that you bring that up though, because like that's been a thing in like the Dracoviz our little like team Discord where everyone else is from the US and I'm
Yeah,
like the only yeah.
yeah.
So apparently there's a slight language barrier there, but
Do people understand you in
we're on a
Australia?
learning journey. Bruv, you know what? I'll be very honest, right? Um, a lot of places that I go to, yeah, and I don't know if this is, I don't think this is just me. I think this is just
Mhm.
like Londoners in general, right? But like a lot of places I go to,
Mm.
people end up picking up these words and using them themselves. And
Oh.
so even in Australia, I was a bit worried that I'd get an Australian accent, yeah. Bro, some of the people
What do
I've
you
been chilling with,
The English and Australian accent's pretty similar already. I know you would disagree, but I could barely tell sometimes between the Australian and the English
yeah.
part.
Okay, one thing I'll say is that it's like kind of close to like a Cockney accent, yeah. So
Yeah.
there's some similarities in it, yeah, but it's definitely not like I wouldn't say it's the same, you know.
Yeah, yeah, fair.
But yeah, honestly, yeah, I've got some Australians speaking like London, you know.
Really?
Bruv, it's only a matter of time before I'll give it a month.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
start
We'll see.
signing
A
up with
month?
safe. Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll give
I
it a
was
month,
in
bro.
Georgia. I was in the South for 13 years, and I
Yeah,
wasn't speaking.
hey,
I was speaking South. I will say too. I mean, obviously like English and an Australian accent are definitely different things, but a New York accent and like a
mm.
Southern like Georgian accent is definitely way more different than an English and an Australian accent, in my opinion. That's a pretty big difference.
I might need to send you some videos or something in it because you know
Okay.
also the thing is you say is that like there's so many different accents in the UK, right? So
Oh, true, true,
it's
true. Yeah, yeah.
it
I guess I'm
depends on which
generalizing a
one
little
you're
bit
talking
here.
about, you know. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
like
I'm about to get a
maybe
lot of hate
if
comments
you're
from. Yeah.
oh
Yeah, people
no,
from
UK
Australia
boys,
and
man.
UK are going to hate on me after this episode. Like
Yeah.
ignorant
I'll be
Americans.
honest, you know, yeah, I can't tell
You're
the
probably
difference
right.
between most Australian accents. Like I can tell the difference between like a really hot, well, not harsh, but like a really like deep Australian accent where it's like they're really
Hmm.
really sounding Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's my sort of like scale, right? It's like, oh, you sound Australian, or you sound Australian. But
Okay,
I couldn't tell like regional. Or anything like
I got one other question for you. This is something that's I've always like not understood. How come there's a lot of English people that like they have an English accent,
that.
but they're singers, right? They're professional singers, like Leon and Lewis, right? But when
Yeah,
they sing in an American accent.
bro,
Did you
I've
know?
never.
Have you noticed that before?
Yeah.
Why
But
is that
it's
a
like a
thing?
big thing, right? Because it's like, okay, so with a lot of singers, yeah, it's straight up just like, oh, they're singing in an American accent, right?
Yeah.
There was one singer, Lily Allen. I don't know if you remember her.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Lily, her
Yeah,
brother is like an actor on Game of Thrones.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she used to sing in an English accent, but also like I think she sang in an accent that wasn't exactly hers as well.
Hmm.
Um, but it was still like singing in an English accent. I think a few singers did that as well. And then a recent example is Dua Lipa. Yeah, she still technically sounds like she's singing in an American accent, but there's
Wait,
like
Dua Lipa's
parts
English?
where
I didn't realize that.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
She's
that.
from my area as well, actually.
Oh. You know her?
Same age and everything.
What?
Yeah.
What? You do?
So not
Wait.
personally, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But she sometimes sings like some parts in like a bit of an English accent.
Hmm.
Um, I would say that it kind of sounds like a stylistic choice where um you're like stressing some of the sounds and then it just sounds American because you do that. That's my
Gotcha.
my interpretation of it. I don't know.
All right. My final
Do you know what I
question for
mean?
you. Yeah, I think so, but I'm not great at imitating accents, so it seems really hard for me.
Okay.
But they might be more talented. My final question to you is: can you do an American accent? Like if you tried to imitate American.
I think so. I think it's not too difficult, right?
Wait,
But
let's
it
let's let's
depends.
let's hear something.
This is my example, right? Does this
Wait.
not count?
Let me close my eyes. All right. Start from the top.
So, for example, I've got a ball. Okay, I shouldn't have gone for that word, but I'm sitting on a couch. I'm pretty sure that's what you guys call it.
Dude, that was
Maybe.
pretty good. That was pretty good, actually. Wait, yeah.
But I feel like American accents are just like the easiest to do, right? Because you just
I
watch
don't
so
know.
much
That's the only
American
one I
TV when
know.
you grow up. So,
Yeah, you sounded like a white
um,
collar, like office worker when you're talking. What's that?
the thing is that like one of the words I was about to say is bottle of water, and like I do not know how to say that. But it's like
Yeah,
one of the memes, right? It's like battler, bal,
bottle of water.
bal. Yeah, that.
Yeah. Wait, how do you say it?
Yeah. Either like bottle of water.
Bottle of water.
Yeah, bottle of
Okay,
water.
bottle of
Yeah,
water.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, your accent's not as thick as I don't know if you know Dawes. Adam Dworkot
Yeah,
from
yeah,
VGC.
yeah.
He has a very thick accent,
Oh wait,
English
no,
accent.
no, no. Okay, so yeah, but his is like okay, you know what? His, yeah, is exactly what I imagine most foreign people imagine a British
Yes.
accent to be like. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. Yeah.
Like, man sounds
Yeah.
like he's
His
out
is
like Downton Abbey or something,
yeah.
innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think his is different. Honestly, I don't hear very many people sounding like him,
Yeah.
which is the funny
Oh.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Okay. I'll work on my English accent. Maybe I'll surprise you one day with
Let's
it.
go,
I
let's
don't
go.
know.
Hey, you know what? It's more the words, yeah. I want to hear you signing off with say, oh,
You
like
know,
I said, give it a month, give it a month.
I will give it months. So here's the thing. I already got it in my head.
Uh,
I'm imagining, right? A month and a half later or so, we're doing podcasts. We're starting off the podcast. You're eating the hot chip and you can't talk because it's like sweating and stuff, right? So I gotta do the podcast for both of us. So I'm gonna just have a conversation with myself. I'm gonna talk with me, and then I'm gonna respond as if you're talking, right, in an English accent. This is the goal I'm setting for myself, assuming I win this bet.
All right, go for it, go for it. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I might send you some videos in it. Yeah, because I think this would be kind of entertaining. I'll send you some study material.
Okay.
Bro,
I got
I
you.
don't know. I don't know if any of you viewers know about that. Oh man, no, I don't know the name of this video, so I won't reference it. But anyway,
Okay. Drop
yeah,
drop in
let's
my
see, let's see.
DMs. We'll take a look. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Uh,
it is August 29th. No GBL update yet, but
mhm.
hopefully we'll have one soon. We got 2 bets in the work, and yeah, let's see how long we can keep Anicor before he runs off to to
Yeah,
dodge these bets.
at least a season.
At least a
At
season.
least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I think another good sponsorship is Dollar Shave Club. We were trying to get it for Speedy back in the day, but we just didn't get in time. But you got a pretty good beard, you know? You got a pretty good beard.
Yeah,
We could
I could run that. Yeah,
I think we gotta amp it up a little bit though, because this one shave thing, something I learned from my mistake last time is he shaved once, he had a beard back in like 2 weeks. Like it was full
yeah.
grown. It was too
Also,
quick.
personally, I'm not really bothered about whether I have a beard or not as well. So,
Oh, really? Well, so my thought was
yeah, I don't
like if you
really work
lose,
too
you
much.
clean shave your beard every single day for a full month.
That just sounds like effort as opposed to like,
Well,
do you know
of
what I
course it's
mean?
effort. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's
So
on you. You
like,
lost, but it's great for the
yeah,
sponsorship.
true.
Hey, I use this
Yeah,
Dollar
yeah,
Shave
true.
shave razor
Yeah,
every day.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we'll see.
Yeah,
But
that don't mess up my skin. But hey, that won't be me anyway.
yeah, that's that, dude. All right. Anyway, we'll catch you all next week with some GBL updates, and we'll unpack it, and it'll be the episode right before the new season. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a chance we might have a guest. It probably won't be Speedy
Yeah,
eating a hot chip, but hey, if Speedy's out there listening, I won't stop him. If he wants to come on to eat a hot chip and dip out, or stay on for the whole episode, that's on him, man. I'm down for that. Yeah. So let us know. I
yeah,
think the real question is, what is that Speedy Hot Chip Twitter account going to tweet about now?
yeah. That is true. It's probably going to start tweeting about you, right?
I don't
That's
know.
Caleb
They
eating
already
the
got
hot
the
chip.
they already got the handle and everything
Yeah,
covered. We'll see. I'll be on the
yeah.
lookout this week,
I'm pretty
but
sure those handles are changeable, you know. So
we'll see,
yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
You,
Yeah.
I mean, you said you know who runs the account, right? Just
I
DM
do,
them a
I
picture
do.
or something.
Yeah, I guess I
Yeah,
could DM them, or maybe I'll just be surprised. I'm sure they're dedicated listeners, so they'll hear about this and make the decision on their own. But it's not me. It is not me. I will say that. Anyway, we'll catch you all next time and have a good one. Peace out.
so
See, now I understand what you're saying.
yeah, bro.
Now I get it.
Honestly, yeah, like give it some time, innit? Yeah, because I've had people start talking. Bro, I went to flipping uni, innit? Yeah, some next any place in the UK, and I was surprised that people in the UK couldn't understand what I was saying. Yeah, bro. 2 months later, they were all chatting like me. I was like, bro, you
I
ain't
see. I see.
gonna. Yeah, I ain't changing. I
Well,
ain't changing.
we'll see. We'll see. All right. Have a good one, y'all.
Yeah.
Bye.